We're here. Tap the screen, y'all. Tap the screen. Let me share the live out. What? Huh? Huh? Am I not signed in? What is All right, bro. All I want to do is share the goddamn screen. What's up? Copy link. All right, I just want to share the damn live, actually. What's up? Tap the screen, tap the screen. Like the live. Like the live. Thank you. Y'all already know how it go. We should have 1,000 as soon as I sneeze. I mean, not sneeze. As soon as I hop on live, I need 1,000 likes. That's just how it goes. Go live on Instagram. Now let me share it. X. Blah blah blah. What? All right, dude. Zulu Batu. Huh? What is that even? Zulu Bantu? Can't you? What? What? What's up? How many people have been in here? What's up, Monchi? What's up, Creole? Where is this at? They use rods to put rods through people's lips so they won't talk and eat sugar cane. Not a choice. Where? Where do they do that at? You never lived there, that's why, right? Tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen. You only got 85 likes. Tap the screen. I don't speak Swahili, but it's not my language because it's not my language. Apparently, Swahili is pretty modern. Apparently, Swahili is pretty modern. So, what's up? What's up, Sonya? But yeah, y'all can request up. Y'all can request up. Anybody can grab a mic. So, I'll try to learn patois. Hello, never came from there. All right. Bumbleclot. Righty then. I came in peace. What's up? What's up, Jason? What's up, Silence? What's up, JC? What's up, Marsha? I'm in league. Let's see. Let's see who we got. Mr. Voice. All because of the ancestors. I don't know. Okay.
What was that? I can speak the language, man. Watch, check it out. What do you see, brother? What do you come over here? Banana way, banana way, banana way. See, I speak the language, brother. That is the brother of the African language. Hip 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 hip.
Mhm.
Brother, get the cheetah. It is going to run and going to eat you, brother. The lion. Sing the song to keep the lions away.
What's up, Frank?
Banana way, banana way, banana way.
All right, that was enough of that. Like, I wasn't moved by that. Bro, yeah, I mean, that wasn't funny to me. I don't know. What's up?
What's up?
What's going on? What you got for the title?
I don't know African languages
You don't know any African. Why do you think that is?
because have you seen the American school system? Have you seen this?
I
Have
mean,
you
I
seen
went.
how bad
I
it
mean,
is?
I went to school here and I'm teaching it, so
Yeah, and they don't teach it as a core subject in high school or in college.
they don't teach that. Okay. So, what African language do you think they should teach in schools?
Every single one.
Every single one. Okay.
But they don't. They don't. So how are we going to learn it? We have to go learn it ourselves.
Right. We have to learn it ourselves. Okay. For sure.
Hello, good evening.
What's up, Dottie?
Hi, I'm good. I'm not American, I'm Caribbean, and
Mhm.
if it was like why don't Black Caribbeans speak African language? Well, we do. I cannot speak for other countries or islands. I'm from Aruba, and my native language is Papiamento, and it consists of 7 languages: Dutch,
Mm.
English, French, Italian, and African. And the reason that we still have our language is the culture. We recognize the African influence in our culture and backgrounds. And the reason that that they changed the African language time the islands were owned by the Portuguese, the Italian, the Dutch, they adapt more words and they didn't want the slave owners to understand when they were speaking. And that's how my language is what we call Papiamento right now.
Wait a second. She said she speaks Dutch, Italian, English, and African, but African is a continent. So which language
Yes,
in Africa?
that's the thing. We know that we have the African culture in our culture, but which African country we don't know. But I think somewhere the West African countries, Capo Verde, because right now I live in the Netherlands, and when people from Capo Verde speak, we can almost understand each other. So somewhere, somehow, it's from there.
There are
I'm-
200
I mean,
languages.
the Portuguese did colonize Cape Verde, so
Yeah. And I speak 4 languages. I live in the Netherlands, so automatically I speak Dutch because that is our main language in school and everything in Aruba. English because a lot of our income is 85% of Americans, so we speak American English. And Spanish because we're like only 30 minutes away from Venezuela and also a lot of Colombians. And our own language, Papiamento.
interesting. We got somebody to request. All right, what's up? What's up, Native Black? What's going on?
What's up, sir?
Not much. Just chopping it up, trying to figure out why Black Americans don't speak African languages.
Probably because we ain't African, or I'll speak for myself. I'm not African. No one in my family is. No one in my lineage is. No one in the history I look back within the past 300 years of how far I can look back speaks any kind of African. So that's just me.
The show. All righty. You said lie, daughters of the most. She said lies. Damn, you want to come up here, daughter of the Most High? Dang, that's.
I'm
She
like,
said, I don't know. She added you and said lies. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Hold on, but yeah, I was about to say I don't know. I don't know any African language that would have passed down through my family either. So I ain't find none. So I'm with native black. So I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe because most of us don't descend from them people. That's just my theory. I don't know, man. Because if it's retained in all these other countries, why ain't it retained in North America, United States? Right? Like, why ain't it get retained here? Y'all claim don't speak anything but y'all claim we're African. We don't speak any African languages. So so are we just Englishmen since we only speak English?
Nope. Can I answer? Is it okay if I speak?
Yeah, you could. You're good. You just had a hot mic earlier. That's why I muted you.
Oh, no problem. How y'all doing today?
It's
Well,
cool.
basically, you got to take it way back when we were brought over here from what I call the motherland, Africa.
Who's
We
we?
were brought from we as former slaves. When my ancestors was brought over here, my last name is Richardson. So my ancestors was brought by Richardson family, and that's why my last name is Richardson. So when they brought my ancestors over here, we weren't allowed to speak our own language.
Mm.
If we spoke our own language, we got beat, we got killed. They
You
whipped
gotta
it
stay
out
on the
of us.
live. You gotta stay on the live. You got
I'm
refrain
sorry.
from certain on. Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, brother. I forgot it. Please forgive me.
it's fine.
Yeah, when we got beat and we were unalived by our owners, we were forced that language. We were forced out of our heritage. They took it away from us and forbid for us to speak it. We also weren't allowed to read. We weren't allowed to be educated. If we got caught reading, we were, like I said before, the things that were done to us to force us to be obedient, to force us to be inferior. So they forced it out of us. And as time went on and on and on and on, we lost our culture because they didn't allow us to have it. So by the time we got out of, slavery, by the time we got out of it and became Americans, quote unquote African Americans, it was already beat and whipped and forced out of us. I wish to goodness that I could speak Swahili. I wish to goodness that I could go and learn that language. I've actually tried. It's hard because I'm an older person now. If I would have started when I was a kid, 5 years old, I could probably speak it fluently right now. So they give us Spanish, of course, English, French. They give us Chinese, Japanese, all these things offered in school. There are no
Mhm.
African language offered in elementary school, offered in middle school, offered in high school. You can't even find it if you want to. So you have to look for your own self or your own self-awareness. And by the time that education is given to you, you're so old, it's just hard to learn it. So that's why we don't speak it. I bet you many of us wish we could speak it.
When you say, just my quick question for you, because I know you mentioned, so I know you're talking about like your family. When you said that they brought us, they brought your family over, like how many generations are you in America? Like when you say they brought you in, what specific with time and place?
Let's see, my grandfather, my great grandfather, my great great grandfather was a slave. So his grandfather was a slave. So we talking about from the time I'm outside right now. I don't have any books in front of me right now. But from the time they brought slavery over into America, that's when it started. The time, and not only, but if you go to some other countries, slavery was abolished a lot earlier, and a lot of other countries had had such a fierce reverence to keeping their heritage. They fought for their independence a lot earlier, and they were able to speak. They were able to get the heritage.
I think my question is because you mentioned something. You mentioned Swahili. Brought over. You said brought over from somewhere. I'm wondering where in your history are you saying that that you were brought over? Like, are you just talking in general terms? of
I'm
the-
talking in general because I
Okay.
tried to do the research and learn where they bought the Richardson
yes.
family. I tried to look at where they bought
Richardson
us
from where?
from. The Richardson
Native
family,
Black, where are you
Where?
from?
Like,
bro?
in what state?
East St. Louis. The Richardson family, I think, was established in St. Louis, and they were a family of sons. That's
St.
why it's
Louis.
called Richard's son. So Richard's
Uh-huh.
son are the sons of Richard, and
Yeah,
Richard.
I know.
They,
I'm aware of that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
bought.
where did they
Yeah.
come from before St. Louis?
I don't
My
even
last
know
name
for
is-
sure. That's what I'm saying.
Did
From
they
my
migrate? They
research-
most likely migrated from like the South or the East Coast.
You talking about the Richardson family, the white
Yeah.
Richardson family?
The
Yeah, I
Y-
don't know.
Not the
I don't know.
YT Richardson. Like, there's black
Yeah.
Richardsons too. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
But I guess so.
But
My last
I just use my name as an example. But when you talking about, there's so many slave owners that did the exact same thing that other slave owners did, and they whipped you out of your heritage. They did not allow you to learn or to learn anything about who you were, where you came from. That's why most African Americans, what they call us, we don't know our heritage.
I don't
My
know
brother
if that
did
is true,
a,
my
you
brother.
know,
But the question is then why? Because I'm also with the same background and my language is still there, you know?
Correct for me. I'm from
right, because
Uganda.
you were allowed. We, like I said, they
No,
don't
we
teach
are
it in
not
elementary.
allowed. We
They don't
we-
teach it in
we-
elementary
We have
school.
our
They-
own language, so the slave
Right.
owners did not understand us.
Right, but we live in America, which is a capitalistic place. We live in America where money rules. We live in America where they rule it, and so they don't teach it in your classrooms. They don't teach it, and they allow your ancestors not to learn it. So
But
if
I think
you
my
didn't- if
point
my
is, so,
great,
like,
you know,
wait, my last name is Greer, so it's an Irish last name. So somewhere down the line, people in my family were under were bought and sold under people with an Irish, kind of like last name. That doesn't then mean because I have American slavery in my history that means that you were brought over here from Africa. That just means the people within your
Spider-Man?
family were the people
To
within your
act
family
like-
were just enslaved.
It means
Sir.
it was not circumcised.
sir, or people to act like that the average of African American was not bought from over in Africa as slaves. It's just delusional. Yes, they were.
Delusional? Nah, I mean, what's up, KJ? I mean, we had to prove that, right? We had to prove that majority of us came from slaves and from Africa, right?
That's easy to prove.
How
It's very
easy is
easy to
how
prove.
easy is it?
Go
how
back
easy
to
is
your family. It's very easy.
I mean,
to
I went
prove.
back to my family.
If I take,
Hold on, one
if I
second, sir.
take,
One second, sir. I'm back in the 1500s. I ain't find an African yet.
okay, well, I can go back to the 1800s and find my great grandfather was a slave. I
Does
can
that
also
mean
go to my next
we're
door
only
neighbor and
Africans
his.
enslaved? We're
No,
only
I didn't say
Africans enslaved?
only. We're
So
not.
how
We're
do you
not
know?
saying.
Yeah,
We're not
so
saying
how
only. We're saying a majority of the African American today. A majority. I didn't say the only. The majority of African
How do you prove
Americans
that?
today. You prove it by going back to your families. You prove it
Yeah,
by
so
going back
so
to.
what
You
if
could
folks
you could
aren't
even
finding them?
search it. You could even search it by going back to the slave owners. It's
Yeah.
easy to research.
And then
Go
slave
back
owners
to
that
see
had
how many slave owners was in St. Louis. How many were in Maryland?
Right,
How
so
many
that-
get bought
so-
I'm
from
from
the ships?
one sec. I'm from Maryland, sir. You're telling so
Just
you're
because
hold,
you're
sir,
from
you think
Maryland doesn't mean anything.
I did the
What does that
research
prove?
in Maryland, sir. I've been to the Maryland
So-
archive. Have you
Okay,
been to the
so
Maryland archive, sir?
Yes, I have been to the Maryland archives, as a matter of fact. Just
Okay,
because
so how
your
many
family-
slaves should manifest? How many slaves should
I
represent
don't know.
you
Like I
seen?
said, I have any. I don't. I
You
just
said
came on, guys.
you just told like Nick. I was just in Maryland archives like 2 months ago. Literally, I've seen slave records in Maryland. I've seen them.
Yeah, and I just
And-
want to. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, I got you, Rook. I'm just landing right here. When can you speak after Native Black goes? I'll say this: what I've seen from these records, they had all different types of looks and descriptions of people on these slave records. I'll land it there. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So when I say I can like trace my family lineage back to like almost 300 years, so even back to 1789, or I'm sorry, 1780 is where my family's records started to first appear, like in a census. So during that time, I'm not saying whether or not they were slaves. They were obviously slaves. Like anybody can be enslaved. But to say that the majority of Black Americans were specifically from Africa, that the amount is a theory. There is no quantitative proof to say how many were actually brought off. There's actually more proof to say that it is illogical to think that that many millions of people can be brought over from the transatlantic slave trade just based off of the technology that they had then and the sheer travel of it. So I'm not negating that the slave trade didn't happen. Some people did come over from Africa, but to say the majority of Black Americans are direct descendants from the African slave trade within the recent 300 to 400 years that's not an indefinite statement. Because you can also look at evidence. If you've done your research, then you should also look at research of melanated individuals within the entire Americas. So within South America, the entire continent, there's record documents. You can check it out in Denmark, you can check it out in the Netherlands, you can check it out in Spain, of people coming over to the islands and to South America. And the paintings and everything they presented were people of melanated descent. And those were encounters, those were indigenous tribes. So we can't just say that every Black American is specifically from Africa.
Right. What's up? What's up, American? You can go ahead. American, you there?
Yeah, I am here, my brother.
All right, what's up?
1 second, my brother. How are you? Where are you from?
I just said it earlier, like 10 maybe like 5 minutes ago, if even, like maybe 3. I said 3 minutes ago. I'm from the States, from Maryland.
Are you from Maryland? Okay.
Where you from, American?
I'm from Uganda, my brother.
You from Uganda? What tribe you got? What tribe are you from Uganda?
I'm from the Konokopikiki tribe, my brother.
Oh, what brings you up here today, my brother?
Oh, some people, you know, people
I
they
actually
have
like Uganda.
question about who are we and where did we come from. And I want to ask you and display information based on questioning. I want to ask you, my brother.
What's up?
When you was made in and put in this universe, my brother, did anybody ask you, give you option to ask you to select your first and your last name?
Yeah.
What I'm asking, my brother, is did you select your first and your last name after your birth?
Well, my parents gave me that, specifically my dad, since I'm named after him.
Good. So, no, correct?
No.
Okay. Now, did you choose your mother and your father?
No.
Okay. Now, did you choose where you was growing up and where you was born from?
No.
Got to.
No.
Okay. So I want to ask you my question. Do you think, Alberta, and
hold on, what's up? Let me mute FBA real quick. Wait, go ahead.
Yeah, my brother.
What you are we gonna be? You've been up here before, Lo. Come here. Come talk to me. But yeah, go ahead.
Yes, my brother. I just want to ask you, my brother, do you think this universe was created from a creator who wanted
actually no
to be random?
Oh no, actually no. I don't believe in creating. Well, shit, we gonna go into my spiritual beliefs. But
I
no,
don't want to say that Jesus cannot be God with 3 minds. I don't want to go there, but I want to ask you, a creator who created everything in the universe, in the stars.
I believe the universe is ever expanding, and all the universe is creative within itself.
Good. You're scientific. Good one.
Kind of.
Okay, okay. So
Bro, what does this have
according
to
to
do with
your,
the prompt?
Yeah, what does that? I like. What are we getting at?
we will get to
Uh,
the answer really quickly.
we
If you are
speaking.
patient.
You
If you
got
are,
the Yoda picture up. I think I am speaking to you,
Yeah.
the Ugandan
So,
Yoda.
I want to ask you.
Uh huh.
I want to ask you if you think, my brother, you are not unique and special.
What? I'm unique. What you
Good,
mean?
good, good, good. Now,
Good.
if you think you are unique and special, if color was not created from the creator, what color would we be?
Blank. We'll be blank color. We be invisible,
Bro.
Invisible. Okay.
or we be somewhere on the color spectrum. We
On
be all
the
types of
light.
colors. We be like a rainbow or something. I don't know.
Okay. Not the Simpson, huh?
Yeah, we be the Simpsons for sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
African countries have different. What's up, love?
That is all, my brother.
Hey,
How you doing? What you got? You say
yeah.
Uh
So
huh.
it's no such thing as like really speaking African because there's like
Do you
different
know? Do you see the
countries.
accent? You see it language is not African language. Language
You are
is.
Why
not
don't Black
speaking
Americans
Afrikaans.
speak African languages? Because they're American, right? They're in
Uh huh.
America where English is spoken.
Mm-hmm.
So what African tongues are they going to speak? And they will have to know their specific tribe
Uh
to
huh.
know
For
the
sure.
native tongue.
All right. Why you think that is? We don't know that.
So why is that?
I say, yeah, why you think that is?
Hold on. You said why?
Why you think that is?
Considering the transatlantic slave trade,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're no more. I mean, right?
Right. But why do you think people in other countries were able to retain their African roots, like in like Brazil or something, like their African language? We just had somebody from Antigua. She said they were able to retain the African languages that were spoken from the people that came over there.
You're saying that there's current Americans, Black Americans today that are able to speak African languages? Is that what
No,
you're
I'm
saying?
talking about people in other countries like South America, Caribbean.
Well, what African languages are they speaking? Because they will
I
have
mean,
to speak.
they say patois has a connection to tree, so
See, yeah, I don't know why they said that because, like, in different African countries, they have like different. It depends on their tribe. Yeah, so I'm not sure why they would say that. I've never heard that before.
I mean, I've heard Jamaicans say, "Oh yeah, a patois, the patois, yeah, it has a connection to tree." I don't speak a little patois, so I don't know.
I think a lot of languages are like traced back to Africa, but yeah, I never heard that specifically.
Yeah, there's a few words. There's a few words that basically they use in the Jamaican language as part of the African language. And doesn't mean that basically there's direct
You
connection.
sound kind of like low. You talk kind of low.
Yeah, what I'm saying is there's a few
What's up,
words.
Steve?
Where are you from, my brother?
Hold on, Yoda. You got the Yoda. Hold on.
Okay, okay.
Okay, but yeah, patois is pirate. But yeah, what you saying, native?
Yeah, I was saying there's a few words in the Jamaican language that basically has connection to West Africa.
Are you from
and-
Jamaica?
Yeah. And you have to
Okay.
you have to understand why, because there's a few people that was over there from Africa that came over to the islands and stayed there, and mixed with the people that was there. So you're gonna have a mixture of language and words, just like Creole, the French in Haiti. Yeah, they speak a bit of Creole, which is native language, with French. You know what I mean? So you're gonna have that mixture of both language. You know what I mean? Not to say that they're direct descendant from there, but there's a mixture, there's an admixture, if that makes sense.
It's an admixture. Okay. So would you be on agreement that more Africans came to like Caribbean, South America than the United States?
I mean, are we denying the slave trade?
Did I say that?
No.
Did I say that?
No, I'm asking.
I would have said it if I was saying that.
No, the way you ask the
You
question.
Jamaican people smoke too much.
The way
Hello.
you,
Put down, put down the weed, brother. He said, put down the good tree, brother.
the
But
way you ask the question, the way you ask the question, right? It seemed like that's what you're trying to imply. So that's what I asked the question.
I don't imply shit. I say it directly. If I said this slave trade ain't happening, I would have said it already.
Okay, so what? So say it then. What you saying? What you asking me then?
Would you agree
That
that there are more Africans sent to the Caribbean in South America than the United States?
No. No. I
Why
wouldn't.
wouldn't you?
Go and check the history, then you would know. I don't think
Yes, and the history says that
He's
there was
mad,
more
though.
Africans sent
No,
to
no.
South America and the Caribbean than the United States. That's literally what the history says.
No, that's a false narrative that they're trying to paint. That's a false narrative they're trying to paint, and you're still reading from that white conscript. You have to say that.
Hold on. Well, we can ask the people. I can ask my family
Those
about
people-
the slave trade. They ain't no. Hold on. 1 second.
You can look it up.
Hold on, Yoda.
Ask your father.
Yoda, I'm trying to keep you up here, but you gotta use the force and be patient.
Okay.
Wise one. You feel me? But yeah, my parents ain't even learned about the slave trading when they was in school. They went to school in the 80s.
All
Right.
All I'm saying is right that we are still reading from the whitey and
Oh, the YT.
So Native,
But
you
yeah.
don't even have to. It's not
But
even a
yeah.
matter of reading from white history. If you look at sheer population, South America, Brazil, and those places have the second largest, quote unquote, African descendant population of any group.
Okay, so your point is?
So my point is that goes into direct
Oh,
correlation.
we're low though.
So yeah, that goes into direct correlation with saying that the large amount of people on that slave trade went to South Africa or went to South America.
We're not talking about, he was talking about Jamaica, he wasn't talking about Brazil. We're
Right.
talking
So,
about Jamaica.
so Jamaica is a part of the Americas.
Yeah, we know it's a part of the Americas, but don't try to push that narrative. Yeah, please, because that's
So
what
do you see why when I say Caribbeans and Southern America, do you see why I'm making that distinct correlation? Because I'm excluding North America.
Yeah, hey Native, let me interject for a second, right?
Yeah, go on.
So of course, right, just dealing with the difference between those Spanish settlements and the British settlements, right? Whole thing, right? One thing with Jamaica, of course, especially dealing with those maroon folk out there, you know what I'm saying? Hell, let's say, folks took it to certain allegiance, you know what I'm saying, with those different colonists, you feel me? Whether it would be Spanish, British, French, however you want to put it, you know what I'm saying? The whole thing is, it's like, when it comes down to that area in specific, hell, not even just that area, plenty others throughout Florida, Carolina, even areas in Hispaniola, you can find certain maroon settlements, right? My whole thing is just with what's being, spoke on when it come down to people of the land, right? People forget or seem to not think about how far the islands would be from the inland. Like they are no less than, for example, Barbados ain't no more than 4 hours away from where I'm in Carolina. You know what I'm saying? So let's just think about how folks was being taken from inland to island, right? And then not only that, let's think about the folks that was bringing people into those islands as well. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I just feel like, it'll be a little clear understanding, especially knowing that folks came from these different communities, but kind of have similar stories. You know what I'm saying?
My brother.
That's my brother. But yeah, what's up, Royal Goddess? And what's up, Mad?
What's happening? What's happening?
What's
Yeah,
up?
we
Yeah,
was
what's
just
up?
chopping
Yo?
it up in another room. I ain't gonna lie, dog. You know what I'm saying? We was chopping it up in another room. You feel me? And I was kind of surprised. One thing I'm surprised about hearing lately, like the folks from the Maroon settlements, bro, they been goddamn talking some shit. Yeah.
What's up?
You know what I'm saying? Like they've been talking some shit. Like not too long ago, I was just on the panel with some folks from Share. Now I'm saying, oh nah, nigga, it ain't like how you feel me. So
Yeah.
bridging the gap.
What's
You know
up?
what I'm
What's up,
saying?
what's up, grandson? But yeah, go ahead, Royal.
I have another account that I follow you on, but I was in your room before and I had mentioned this about the languages. We don't have accents from anybody in Africa. We don't have any European accents. We don't have any of that. So why do everybody that were colonized from other places, they do have those accents? What happened to us? You see what I'm saying? So, and I think because we already were here, we have different, how can I say, tones to our voice, the way we speak. We might pronounce our words differently in our own, wherever, whatever original tribe that we were from, we still hold that. But as far as the language, we already had the language. Okay, we already had everything. They want to try to make us think that we were somebody with some arrows and we were shooting and horses and all this stuff like they show in the movie, right? But we were already civilized. We had beautiful big cities here. We had everything. Right. When the European came here, he didn't have to do nothing but be trifling, two-faced, and backstabbing and take our stuff. And then hide who we were under some foreigners that he brought here under the pretense that they're native. And I hate to say that. It's for, I'm going to say entertainment purposes, eye-opening purposes only, but come on, we can just see it right before our eyes. I rest the mic.
Thank you. We got anybody else? What's up? Who on the request? What's up? We got Reggie. What's up, Reggie?
Hey, yeah, I'll drop down so you can get more folks up.
All right, for sure. Appreciate it. What's up, Reggie?
What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, my thing is when we say about the fact that you said why don't black people, and I've been listening for about 15-20 minutes. The biggest thing is that one reason why I think that if most people that because black, we can't really dig. For me, I see that you said that you from Maryland or whatever, and you said that you went to your local archives and everything and done your research. And the crazy thing, if you look at it, like for me, and I know you kind of young because you said your parents didn't learn anything about slavery in the 80s. I went to school in the 80s, part of the 80s, part of the 90s. But my thing is, you said that y'all didn't learn history, and I'm from the South.
80s. Well, 70s actually. They went to school in the 70s.
Well, I got family. Well, my mom and dad, well, they graduated, probably early 70s, but still, you said they didn't talk about slavery. But I knew about slavery when I was in school, but they didn't talk about it as much. But anyway,
my grandma was born in 28. Hold on, 1 second. Yeah, 1 second. My grandma was born in 28. They ain't passed nothing down about no slave trade. She was born in 1928. She was around during the Jim Crow era. Yeah, she was around during the Jim Crow era.
I got a great aunt that's 97. She's born in 19, and she talks about a lot of stuff, and even she can tell me some stuff. But the thing is, I'm gonna put it like this. I'm gonna stay on the top about the African thing. About the language part. Put it like this: if you think that slavery, most of the slaves that when it comes to us talking about language, because you can't say that we would have any kind of reconnect. For anybody, I don't know, for people's history or wherever they family from, you can't say that because you gotta think about it. When they ended slavery, for wherever slavery was, and just the fact that you mentioned that you said that you went to the archives and you looked at some slave things. I even personally went to the National Archives on my computer and done my research, and I seen some stuff. But the thing is, for black folks but for the black people to say that I can't dig my history, I'm not no white part, but the blackness, you can't go back no further than the 1800s.
Shit.
On the black part.
Shit.
Not I. I can't. I'm
shit.
No, I'm talking about.
I got people on the first census. That's in 1790.
But
that's
that's what I'm
past
saying.
1800.
But that's you. But see,
Yeah,
that's
but he's
you. I
not the
can't.
only one. He's
Shit,
not the only one.
I'm not the. I was about to say I'm not the only one. Like shit, I could go back. I got a family that was black in the 1600s.
So you, but I'm not saying, I'm not denying that you probably do, but I don't. I didn't. I couldn't go.
So where are you from?
Down south.
What's
And I
down
can
south?
tell you,
What state?
What
state?
Florida.
What state?
There.
Florida. Right. Florida. Did you know? Did you look into any of the Spanish records in Florida?
Yep, I know. If you look, I know my Florida history. I know Florida. I know my history definitely. But
Where's
anyway, I still can't
where's
go.
your folks at before Florida?
But I tell you this, my family originated in Virginia, mostly on my dad's side, and some in South Carolina, and then we made our way on down here. That's the furthest I can go. I'm talking about the blackness. No, I'm not talking about no. I'm not talking about no white part, but I'm talking about the black
Virginia.
part.
So you know how easy, you know how many people are actually documented. And so Virginia is one of the most documented states.
And look,
Walter Plecker, he in Virginia is when he made all the natives, black, colored, Negro through the census. So he took the original native people of Virginia and turned them into Negroes and black. He took their whole status away as native, Aboriginal and native people. So, bro,
but I'm gonna say but I don't know nothing about that. I don't really can't go back.
His name is Walter Plecker. You're gonna be surprised.
But I'm gonna put it like this: anybody when slavery ended, and they so-called outlawed slavery, think about it. When people that own slaves or had people, they use them as breeding ground. So what I'm saying is that fact that when I look at my family and just a little amount of history that I do know on them, I wouldn't consider myself. My family didn't speak. I wasn't born, so I can't say that I'm African. Even though if I find things that in my trees saying so and so, this I wouldn't consider myself African. It's just the thing that I reckon that people started saying. Some people say it, some people don't. It's just like you might say that most people say, well, we've been here forever. Like you said that you found your family back as far as 1600s. I can't.
Boy, that I was about to say before that too. Like my folks been here forever. Like shit,
Yeah,
I got
but see, some blacks, I'm not going to deny it because I personally, I do my geology. I've ran across people that know their history, that have gone far back, and they black, not white, but black or whatever. But I can't, and I've been I've been doing it for some years. I've probably been doing it longer than you've been. I'm almost about half your age. I've been doing this for a long time, since I was in my mid-teens. And I mean, I've been everywhere, and I just still
I've done this for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I've done this for a lot of people.
But the part about I could
Pistol?
say why my family wouldn't be able to speak African language or any kind of language, because after 18, I think the highest is 1805, and that's it. Once that far back down on the black side of my family, the blackness, that's it. I couldn't find nothing else.
What do you? Okay, so with you saying that you can't find anything past,
there's no connection. Me as a black person, I wouldn't have.
Hold on, sir. Let me ask my question. So you saying that you can't find anything past 1800s? So I think what we're trying to drive home is, if your ancestors came from some of those African countries, even orally, wouldn't some of those words and things be passed down orally? So we're saying that why can't today's Black Americans recall any of their grandparents or any of their great grandparents speaking about any African language or even African oral history, anything like that?
Well, think about it. If you said, I heard you a native black, I heard you say something about you had some Irish, something like that. And right. Just take that in light. We don't know exactly. You said that because Irish people were considered slaves at one time, and we can't deny some of them been servants or whatever they were.
They were slaves.
Thank you for the follow, Olivia.
No, they weren't slaves, and it's important to distinguish between the two.
Servant and slave. I know the difference.
Okay, so all right, go ahead.
But anyway, I just still feel like that when it comes to if you think the South compared to most of the slaves that were before America became before we won our independence in the 1600s, what they call New America or whatever that you want to call it. Most of the records that I ran across, those people, you got to think about it. Most of those people that even spoke and that were coming over, some of them couldn't even speak their languages. So I know at one point when as time through and then America won its freedom from the British, you think about it, when they started bringing in whatever, if they did other people that
you said the people that they brought over couldn't even speak their language. What language were they speaking?
Most people. I mean, if you think,
are you talking about European settlers that came buffer classes that were brought over here?
There were some European settlers that weren't allowed to even speak their language.
Right. Yeah,
I'm not saying they weren't allowed, but I'm not saying they weren't allowed, but they were like,
Yeah, we know what's up, Venus. Well, I'm here. They would make people anglicize their names and stuff. With Irish, the French, the Spanish.
And so I'm saying this. So if there were black,
my point about why isn't there any?
We kind of all over the place with this combo.
But no, I just you're still missing my point as to why even orally certain specific African traditions or specific African words or any kind of original African tribal sense, whether it's in traditions, history, or verbiage. Why isn't that passed down to modern day Black Americans, even within our grandparents or great grandparents? You can't just say because we're all from different places, because then if we're all from different parts of Africa, then there should just be a diverse amount of it, right?
Yep.
Well, if pull like this, if I was to keep you from saying something, just say if you was speaking Spanish, and I forced you to not speak your language. And you go for so many years, or even your history, and I try to just take the history that you have and get rid of it, and then you have kids, and then you try, and then think about it. If you try to teach your kids a little something, and then I'm sitting here, and then I tell them no, they can't do something like that, and it's just like if you take. So what I'm saying is, for me, you can't pass something down or be allowed if you're being oppressed from doing it. So we can't sit here and say that because I mean it's just like if I've been on some people's lives and I heard people from the island say, well, we know our histories. Well, probably they do know their history. But in my thing, I said I couldn't say that I wouldn't know my history. But so I personally can't say that if my great grandparents did have something that was passed down, they was too damn scared to even say who. I mean, there's plenty of in history where people have lost most of the tradition. Either one, the kids, the new generation don't give up, care about what they traditions was or language that they spoke and just gave it up. I mean, they don't care. So can't say it's an up in the air. I mean, it's an up in the air question. It's just like right. I mean, because
but here's where I have it.
But Native, take this.
Wait, you made a point. I just want to say, so all right, so if you go by the narrative that the last slave ship came in 1830 or 1840 or something like that.
No, you know that you heard about the one in Mobile.
There was a continuous influx of African slaves from Africa being intermingled with slaves that were already here. So I'm only 6 generations removed from slavery. So even within that 6 generations, you're able to retain certain oral certain oral traditions or just memories that were passed down through your relatives. So what I'm saying is if the last slave trade or the last slave ship came in 1830 or 1840, you're telling me that nothing from that era of Africanness was then passed into the current slaves for us to even be talking about it now. It's not, you know what I mean?
So wait, Native. So Native, the thing is, you just said 1830 something. If anything that came in after 1834, that ship probably most likely didn't come directly from Africa. Either them people came from the island somewhere. You got to think about it. I just said slavery was abolished or got rid of in 1803 or 1804. Can't remember. What I'm telling you is that even if those people did come over and they tried to teach their kids, and then if their kids were oppressed, they were oppressed and they had to do it in secrecy, they probably did try to tell them oral stuff. But what I'm saying is, one of them kids don't give a fly about their original origin. But what I'm saying, you saying 1834. So what I'm telling you, I don't have no. See, if you saying that you was 6 generations removed from slavery, and if that's the case, can you show exactly? You said where your family originated from. What I mean, because I know I don't have no direct connection. I don't even, if I did, I mean, I really don't care.
Right.
I'm over that.
My family's originate from the Carolinas.
And mine's is too. Some of mine's. Going back, like I said, no further than 18, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of more people. Y'all can request up. Make sure y'all request up. Hit the like button. Let's get up to 20,000 likes, y'all.
But anyway,
go ahead.
Yeah, but anyway, man, it's just like this. I think that that you can't say that if some African people or anybody that has a language or any kind of oral history, if you teach somebody something, whether it's a dance that they do or something kind of like even food or just something that you try to pass down, you can start something. Your great grandparents or even you can start something with your child, and then if you live long enough, and then something that you taught your kids something, and then it just disappeared. Is vice versa. Is that either they didn't want to do it, or vice versa they were oppressed? Because there were people in the South, at least in Florida, because at one point, and when speaking of Florida history, because Florida was the only place at one point that was ruled by different the French, the Spanish, and the British at one point.
Sounds like Louisiana too, but
oh yeah, but see, that's what that means. Think about it, Louisiana, and how you think most of the if you know most, I mean, a lot of the history, Haiti and New Orleans had a very good connection, even some parts of Florida.
Yeah, Texas too. You're right, Texas. Parts of Florida. All righty. What's up, Chief?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying what's up. Go ahead.
Like if whether some of the so if one of the last recorded quote unquote slave ships were brought over into America at 1860, in 1865 was emancipation. That's enough time for the recent slaves who have been brought over to pass down their oral traditions or whatever words that they spoke over in Africa, and for that to still be infused somewhat or show up somewhere in modern day Black America or modern day.
Okay.
But wait, hold on.
Hold on. Sir. Okay, go ahead.
Because after 1865 or so, it wasn't. If slavery was no longer practiced in America, then these people were free to pass down whatever oral or whatever traditions that they brought over from Africa, but we don't see that present in any modern day Black Americans. So it's just not adding up to me.
Right. Yeah, it don't, because like all these other places could reserve their African culture, but lo and behold, the place with the least amount of African slaves, that doesn't have many African retentions. So.
I mean, it would. I feel like it would show up somewhere in some pocket of America, like whether it was maybe.
Okay,
go ahead.
Okay, so take this. I can't. It's just like if I would say my 97-year-old great aunt that's living, and was to say that her father was born after slavery. Her father was born in 1870s. I think 1871. So he didn't have nothing to do with slavery. So the thing is, so even though he was born in the 1800s. And then grew up in the 19th, whatever. He didn't deal with. I mean, they deal with Jim Crow. But what I'm saying is, if my great aunt and her father, and then most likely his father, born in slavery, we can't say what the harshness and the treatment or what they're going through. Who would want to talk about slavery, or even if they wasn't slavery? If something was, if somebody was treated bad, or if something they did, they probably, like I say, I still say that I can't say that if somebody did have a language or something that they wanted to pass down to another individual, they were too damn scared. We can't sit here whether I don't know how old are you, Native, huh?
I was about to say, where are the laws that outlawed African languages being spoken in the United States?
Man, you can come on, man. There are different laws that would. I mean,
not during slavery, but like during. He said in the United States.
Yeah, in the United States, like they outlawed indigenous.
That's what I'm saying.
They outlawed indigenous languages.
See, you trying to say that you trying to say they outlawed, but you know they had laws. Think about this. in South, I'm going off with in South Carolina. I know for a fact that because I got a lot of books that I've been reading, and I go and do my resources just to see where they got their sources from. And these are handwritten papers, laws that were because you know they only had 13 colonies. You think about it when I just mentioned about
I'm from the first 2 colonies.
Yeah, Maryland was one of them. Then you think about Maryland, New York, that called because you know they called that New Amsterdam at one point. Okay, but what I'm saying is those colonies had their own laws. So what I'm saying is I read one that it was kind of shocking. I think it was in can't remember what year it was. It was actually I think before the United States won the freedom. So I can't say that it's a different people say slavery in America. I look at it slavery as this. When I look at the slave, anything was before America won their freedom. I look at that slavery as I reckon, even though it was an American or whatever, I look at that slavery kind of different. I'm talking about slavery that was after the 17 something. The slavery after we won our freedom.
Virginia outlawed chattel slavery in 1705.
So, but they also had, but then think about it. After once we gain our independence, there's stuff that in Virginia, South Carolina, places like that. Once it started becoming states, I mean, you know, connected with the America, they had their own laws. But then they had laws that were, I think, where I read were in South Carolina that it wasn't if you was a slave owner, they gave you right to do certain things, but they also got punished. But still, they didn't really, you can't say that what slave owners had on their plantations back then. So we can't say that they had
They said it themselves. And then that's what
I'm saying. What I'm saying is we can't.
One second, dude. You've been yapping for a while. Like, come on, I'm trying to speak. All right. Yeah, that's why they had things called slave narratives. They told you what happened on plantations. They interviewed people that were formerly enslaved and stuff like that. And there's people that do have passed down oral traditions of what have happened down on plantations. There's skills that have been passed down. They were on farms. There's a thing called sharecropping. So there's skills that were passed down from enslaved people to people that were born after slavery. Well, yeah, request up, y'all. It's an open panel.
I have a question. What do you think is the motivation, or what do you think is the because when you hear people, so I think even within the Black community, there's discourse among ourselves when people who are obviously questioning the current narrative of the slave trade, and some of us who are doing due diligence and studying and learning of history outside of specifically the U.S. Why do you think there's so much opposition to us challenging the narrative? Like specifically, not only from white people, but Black people themselves in America.
Because most people are part of the masses. Most people are part of the masses. You go against anything that people are programmed to believe or have been taught, anything that people have known for years, their whole lives, they're gonna feel a way about it.
Well, that's for the ones that believe everything that come out somebody's mouth or book they read. Because even though I buy a book or I read a book or an article or something, I like to dig deep. I'm the type of person if I do read something, whether it's an article or source, I like to know what sources, where it come from. I do my own research. Sometimes that's why it takes me a while, because compared to how I used to read books, I don't just sit there and believe everything I believe.
I'm up there,
you got those one-minded thinking people. So that's why I'm saying that.
I'll be a part of the masses. Hold on. How am I a part of the masses? Oh, my bad. Not mine. Go ahead. People aren't taught to critically think. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, you got some one-minded people. It's just like if you sit here, if we can't sit here and say that a few wealthy Blacks in those slavery days that didn't own slaves, but if they were family members to keep them from being to protect them, or if they just had slaves or servants or whatever, I mean, we'll be sitting here denying that there were Black slave and slave owners.
I couldn't think that way in elementary. We had to pass tests. Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, folks, like the school system. I learned this in college. I learned in a entrepreneurship class, right? they limit people's creativity and their critical thinking with these how tests are programmed, how tests are set up, right? The way we're given tests in school, everything has to have one answer. It has to be one thing. That sets you up. That's why people aren't critically thinking as well, because everything has to have one answer. There's not, if you take out different possibilities, then you get one track, one-minded people, hive-minded people.
But that's why we're in the situation where we are now. We one-minded. Sometimes, I mean, when you don't have, if you take one source and run with it, you get lost.
So I think, Reggie, I hear what you're saying, but then I'm trying to, I can't pinpoint what your conclusion is. Like, what is your take on the prompt?
My conclusion is that I'm just saying this. I can't sit here and say that what people went through to not pass something down, even though Dave or whatever, how you pronounce your name, even though you said they had sharecropping slaves had picked up trades or picked up something that they handed down. I can say that for my great grandparents. Most of them were sharecroppers. So, and they passed, my uncles and my great aunts and my mom even were worked on farms. So that was something that she didn't pick it up just from watching. They taught her that. But still, I say that I can't say that if they did have some type of oral language or some type of oral history or language, they can't say that they couldn't pass it down, because I don't know, because they probably were stricken or oppressed from saying it. I don't know. I'm just saying that I say that if they were able to, they probably would have passed down.
I mean, folks are able to pass down type. Like, people were able to pass down type.
Because you didn't have no.
Like,
okay, so
you tell me you said people were able to pass down type. That was a hidden language. They couldn't. You tell me there's people that couldn't hide their African language and pass the shit down.
So you think about it. So if you take this, if I told you that my great grandmama, my great aunt, her father was born after slavery, and then his parents were born into slavery, or whatever. Because I can't say if they were free. I don't know if they were free or not, but because I couldn't find. But anyway, you can't sit here and say that. I can't sit here and say that.
Share the live.
I couldn't sit here and say that they had a language that they knew from, whether it was from the islands or whatever, that they tried to pass it down to their kids, and then they tried to pass it on. You can't sit here and say from the islands or whatever that they're saying that I believe that, or I ain't saying I believe that I believe that, yeah, it could have been passed down, but then again, we don't know. It's still up in the air. I'm not gonna sit here. That question that you have, it could have been, but y'all trying to sit here and say that, you're trying to get people's answer or conclusion on something that we don't really couldn't say. It's a yes and a no.
It's a yes or a no, but the question is,
no, it is a yes. It is a yes and a no, right, and I debate you on that.
Sure. So right now the prompt is, why don't Black Americans speak African languages? So
because like I said, if you
wait, let me go. Let me finish. I'll be
go ahead and finish.
I'll be quick. So the prompt is, why don't Black Americans speak African languages? And then we also look at, why don't Black Americans have any African specific traditions, oral history, religion?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It falls in the same category.
Let me finish, bro. Let me finish.
Bro, I don't know what the fuck you finna say.
No,
just go ahead and put me off the thing.
Because I've asked you this before, and you're not making sense, which is why I keep having to ask you this.
And you ask me,
and your answer is,
maybe
they weren't allowed to.
It's your opinion of what my answer is.
Sir.
It's your opinion what my answer is.
But that it doesn't make any sense.
No.
They weren't allowed to speak, or if he told you that if they can pass
different, dude, you got to
memories, if they can pass down memories,
do you think
down memories and stories of being
but that's your opinion.
Why can't they pass down any other history or knowledge that they also have from these African tribes and stuff?
Okay, so tell me this. If Black folks was emancipated, or we won our freedom in 1865, and you had a literacy rate That was where black folks couldn't read. So you tell me this: if they had a brother or sister that could read, why the hell they didn't teach them how to read, but only taught them how to be a sharecropper or be a blacksmith or be a housemaid or
What does
whatever?
history have to do with what does reading and writing have to do with oral history and tradition?
Bruh, it's something. It's just the same thing. If somebody couldn't read, it's the same tradition. If you was to pass it down, a knowledge or something for somebody to be able to do something, it's the same. It's a skill.
It's not.
If you couldn't read, if you couldn't read or write back then,
so they couldn't talk.
That ain't got nothing to do with talking.
Read and write. If I can't read and write, then I can't talk.
But you said that. What I'm saying is, the dude said that you said we pass down skills, which is something like if you take this for example. If your mother taught you how to do something like cook, and you take that skill that she taught you, that she probably was taught by her mother. But if you sit right here and if I was the type of person that she was forced not to teach you how to cook or forced not to teach you how to pick up these skills, then you would be oppressed from doing it. So the history wouldn't continue to go on. That you couldn't learn something. You couldn't sit here and say that if your mother's mother, your grandmother taught your mother, but then you pick up the skill, but then if they were forced not to, then you will never pick up the skill that will force or oppress not to be able to do it. So if you take something, whether it's oral history or something, and the fact that when I said reading and writing, you know that during slavery, if a person knew how to read and write in some parts of the South or wherever slavery, you could get killed or either chopped. There were certain things that happened to people that knew that stuff.
Right.
So some of them skills. So what I'm saying, when we sit here and talk about skills that they had to have,
they were outlawed from reading and writing. Why does that?
So
why aren't I'm talking about oral traditions? Oral.
So what I'm saying,
passed down orally. You don't have to read and write in order to speak.
So Native, listen. What I'm saying is that this question that you have, why don't Black Americans speak African languages or know anything to have any kind of tradition? And what I'm telling you, if I was to sit here and if I was a slave owner and I seen stuff like that, knowing that's just like saying that most Africans, why did they use the Bible against slavery to try to say that why did they use Christianity as a tool for slavery back in those days?
Right.
You can't sit here and say that if somebody was forced not to do something, how the hell you guess what? For those that probably you can't say.
The reason that doesn't hold weight is because you still see that within Brazil, the islands, they still hold some type of African tradition orally, or some type of belief system rooted specifically in some African tribe or something. You don't see that.
But I can't speak for Brazil.
Right.
I'm talking about in America.
Right. So
I don't live in the islands. I can't represent Africa. I mean, I can't speak for those. I'm just saying my thing is that question, why don't Blacks? We can't sit here and say that what we know, because we didn't live. You know what? I'm telling you like this.
What makes a slave so different from North America and the Caribbeans in Brazil? What is it about them that they were able to retain some type of connection to Africa or West Africa?
We would have to go ask them. I couldn't tell them. I don't know the answer, and you don't know the answer. Can you tell me why?
Yeah, because
tell me why they have a strong origin of having a deep connection, having some kind of do they have language? You talking about most of the people that I see that I've videos where I seen some Afro whatever people that were over in Brazil or even in the some parts of Mexico or whatever, they got African, but they don't speak the language. They might have the dancing and stuff, but that's still not the language. What you asking me what's on the thing. So what I'm saying is that question that you're asking is still a yes or no answer, because one, we didn't live. That's like if I was to sit here and say that I told you I might be old enough to be your father, but at the end of the day, I was born in the 70s, educated in part of the 80s and 90s, and then so on. But if I would sit here and say that I know what it felt like when my parents were going to school, it felt like, well, hey, I was able to go to a school with I was able to go to school with multicultural people, but my parents couldn't. They went to a predominantly poor ass, raggedy ass school, all Black schools in the South until they started desegregating schools. So if I sit here and say if I know what my parents went through, then that's just like saying that how can I know something when I didn't go through it? So the fact that we can't sit here and we don't know what slaves went through or servants or why. We don't know the true reason why. So that's why I'm saying that that's a yes or no answer.
Well,
so we don't fucking know.
So the answer, so there is no yes or no answer, because the question is asking you what is your specific conclusion. So that is
my conclusion is that we don't know. And I'm saying that I can't say that it could have, but then it's still a yes or.
All right. So
can you hear me?
So my conclusion is that because
so I'm gonna ask you. So
the majority, I'm gonna ask you the question. The majority of North American blacks are not descendants of the African slave trade. That is my conclusion.
But how do you know? How do you know? How listen. I imagine if you don't mind me, how old are you?
I'm 29.
Okay, so my boy about to turn 30 years old. Let me tell you something. So for your 29 years, so how long have you been doing your research on history? Have you traveled and actually? I'm not talking about some shit that somebody else. I mean, stuff that somebody else wrote. Have you wrote a paper, or are you college educated like the other young man?
I am, yes, not in history.
Okay, so not in history, but and so most likely, if you don't mind, what did you go to school for?
Communication.
Okay, communication. Okay, so most likely, I don't know what the other young man went to school for, but take this example. So if you sat right here and had personally done your own paper and your own travel and wrote your own article, not going to no library, picking up somebody else's sources. I'm not saying that people don't do that, but going in and doing your own paperwork and your own study without me saying we can't sit here and blame no other black person, a colored person, or a white tea person, stuff that they have you personally gone in your 29 years or your years of school and actually done research yourself, done paperwork, got trails that you can say that you work with somebody, talk with somebody, that you can back that up to say why black folks don't have no kind of and what I'm saying is we can't sit here and say I can't say I'm not going to deny that what you know about your family. Just the same thing is about the host. You know your family history, whether if your grandparents have told you something, you know your history. I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't know what you know. So for you, your side, you say that you went back, you 6 generations from slavery. So you can't sit here and say that I can't say that you don't know. But according to what you're telling me, that you don't have no connection, and then you're gonna sit here and on this panel and say that there is a conclusion. There's a yes or no. There's a no. You're saying that the fact that Northern so and so. No, I don't. I'm going against it, and this is not no one-minded thinking. I would, when I'm saying I would debate you, but I wouldn't debate you because only reason why I would debate you because I know for a fact that you haven't. No, I have gone out, and that's why I say it's a yes or no answer. Because not just the fact that I'm saying that we don't know what those slaves or servants went through for them not to pass it down, because there are kids that it's just like, why? If that's just like saying that if you would say the quota Gen X and this all this Gen Z's, all this crap that we say that why kids are not doing that, and there's a reason everybody has a answer for why this ain't doing this and why we ain't doing this.
Going on for a moment, so hold on. So I'm going to be honest, it's been a little hard to follow a little bit. So what I'm saying is I have the same access to research and books and people who have done the history and things like that. And from that, I'm able to deduce a conclusion on my end on why it doesn't make sense in my head as to why Northern Black Americans do not retain any kind of tradition.
We had a bunch of
so that is my answer. I am doing my deduction from what I've researched. It doesn't add up to me. And that's my opinion.
Okay, so if you don't mind.
What's going on? What's going on? I'm back.
Somebody else go.
Hold on 1 second. I'm back, y'all. What's going on? We got new people upstage. What's going on? Yeah.
Hey,
let's hear from
Can I explain this to him why? This is why. In South America, they shipped slaves and worked them until they were unalive. At a certain point in America, they stopped shipping enslaved and they bred us. So those slaves right there were bred and raised in America. They were not bringing fresh slaves from Africa. That's why in South America, they still have roots directly tied to Africa because they kept on bringing them in. Whereas America, it was against the law to bring them in. They were bringing some people in illegally, but for the most part, they were breeding us here in America. That's
Thank
why
you,
we
thank
don't
you,
have
Kelly.
time to Africa as much as South
Thank you,
America
Kelly.
because they worked them until they were unalived, so they had to keep on bringing them in.
Thank you, Kelly.
North America was in 1860.
So you think Africa is a
Yeah, and was the
Yeah,
last?
and
when was the last one to
Mobile, bro.
South
I know
America?
about that.
Right.
When was the
so-
last one to South America?
Right, but sir, the last last
When
recorded
was the last one to
sir,
South
the last recorded slave trip to North America was quote unquote 1860.
And when was the last one to South
and
America?
we were freed in 1865. So if
Again,
if slave ships started
He's not
still
answering the
came,
question.
if slave ships still came to North America up until 1860, we were freed in 1865. Then
After the
why-
Haitian Revolution, they stopped shipping in slaves from Africa because of what happened during the Haitian Revolution.
Sorry,
in America.
there were still illegal.
Where are
Whole
the
time,
ships,
because
Kelly?
they bred in,
All
they
right.
brought in
All right.
soldiers.
All right, hold on one
from Africa.
second, one second,
There were
one
still
second,
illegal
one
slave
second,
trafficking.
one second, one second, one second, one second.
Why do y'all need to
All
ask me?
right, so we're somebody. Yeah, I was about to say, like, what's up, Miyako? Are you in the new Discord, Miss Miyako? But yeah, I was about to say, yeah, where were we even at in the conversation? I want to go eat.
Me and Reggie were just going back and forth about why we believe Black Americans don't retain language and traditions.
Okay,
And
I heard.
I tried to explain to him why. He's talking about the last slave ship that came to America. What was the last one that went to Brazil?
We ain't
See,
talking
after-
about. I'm not gonna lie. We ain't talking.
educated, only educated at school.
Hold on, one second. I was about to say we ain't talking about Brazil. Honestly, this is about. I'm not gonna lie. When I make these conversations, it is mostly like shout out to the Caribbean, South America, but these conversations are more so geared towards the United people in the United States.
Well, there's
That's
80
where I'm
million.
from.
There's 80 million black people in Brazil. That's why they still retained some more of their African heritage because they kept on
Or
bringing
maybe.
them in.
Okay, cool. Because they brought more Africans to Brazil than we're talking about the
Yeah.
United States.
After
let's
the Haitian Revolution, what happened? Because that's how we got the Louisiana Purchase. After the Haitian Revolution, and France went bankrupt, and they had to sell Louisiana to America. They was not bringing in no warrior slaves from Africa no more. They was done with that because that's what happened to Haiti.
The Haitian Revolution is not why France went bankrupt. That is not why.
Like, what did he just say?
Right.
No,
Somebody.
But Napoleon
Wait, you said-
Bonaparte went bankrupt fighting Haiti, and that's what Cinco de Mayo is, fighting the Mexican War, trying to go in there and get more slaves.
Getting bankrupt.
Slow down.
So, we substituted one fast talking to it for another. Jesus Christ!
I'm
This
sorry.
this the slick talking show tonight.
What was the Louisiana Purchase, sir? Louisiana Purchase because French had to sell Louisiana and all those parts to America. After Haiti was a moneymaker. After Haitians unalived their masters and took over Haiti was a big monetary hub for France. Why do you think Napoleon Bonaparte was even here in America trying to get into Mexico? They lost, and they had to sell all their territory. And after that, when they found out that it was African warrior slaves that they brought in there that started all of it, America was not doing that no more.
The reason why the French sold Louisiana was specifically because the British kept on pressing them militarily. Is because they could not fight back. It had nothing to do with being bankrupt from Haiti. That might have played a part of it.
Okay, that sounds good except for one thing. That sounds good. So what you said the British. So how would the British press them over here in America when they trying to get into Mexico? That's what Cinco de Mayo is. The French-Mexican War.
All right, let's reset the topic, please. I'm about to get a headache trying to keep up with this shit. This conversation right now. So we're talking about why don't Black Americans, i.e. the people in the United States, we're talking about the people in the United States, not speak African languages.
Because they're not African.
Because any African that was speaking an African dialect would get beat.
You gotta ask yourself why you fighting so hard to hold on to that narrative.
Right.
All right, artistic wanted to speak. Go ahead.
Okay, let me say this quick, and I'm not gonna be long-winded because I gotta step down. But I've been watching TikTok for 2 weeks, and something that I've learned about is FBAs, Foundational Black Americans, And then I also paid attention to all the controversy that was going on between FBAs, Africans, and Caribbeans. So I did a little bit of research, and in doing my research, it took me down a rabbit hole, which the research was being done on my genealogy. And what I learned from that is that we are most definitely a mixed race of people, which consists of French. When I'm mainly speaking from my genealogy, but it's French, African, Indian, and maybe some Spanish too, Spaniards. It's just a mixture of all those. So when you start talking about who when I say the dominant race or the so-called white tea supremacy or whoever is in charge at that time, you're talking about people that have to assimilate with the majority. So like Creoles, mixing French and maybe depending on what part of the continent you're on, maybe a little bit of Spanish. But I mean, the Creole does consist of some African dialect mixed with French. So it's just like people who speak Spanish, they speak Spanglish, which is a mixture of English and Spanish together. So maybe that's what happened, because in my situation, my mother, I had to tell my mother yesterday, she's 82 years old, and people would always ask her, what are you? What are you? Because she had this her look was very unique and peculiar, and so, but they didn't know what she was. And so she would just say, jokingly, she would say, I'm a mutt. But she honestly did not know what she was. I did the research for her, and I told her, I said, Mom, next time somebody asks you what you are, don't tell them you're a mutt. Just tell them that you're Creole, that your grandmother is half Indian and half French, and my grandmother, great grandfather, he was a Frenchman with blue eyes. And so there's a mixture of all that going on with most Black Americans.
Everybody ain't got that.
I don't know about most.
I ain't got all them saltines in my life.
But see, I didn't know that either. See, like everybody in my family, we claim Black, African American, Black, African. The only thing that brought this to my attention is all the controversy with the FBAs and the African Americans and blah blah. I said, well, let me do some research here. So I didn't even know that was in my genealogy. To be honest with you, I just thought my grandmother was a high yellow, light skin, whatever. Which now I gotta take a second look at myself in the mirror and say, that's why my facial features look the way they do. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm mixed up with but a lot of us don't even realize that's why we do look different from someone who actually, but then I can't even say that, because when the African continent, you got the South, the North, the East, the West, it just depends on what part of Africa you're from. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that we are a mixed race of people, as far as those of us that have been here for generations. We're not here.
But
I know
what she's talking about is exactly what I said about the
one second. I know folks got French blood in them, but I ain't French. I don't know who this wee stuff is. But I'll speak for myself. I ain't got no African admixture in me, none. Then I'm back in 1500s. Do I got some European in me? Sure, but most of my ancestors are from America.
After the Louisiana Purchase, the Black people that were mixed with French blood were called the Gens du Couleur. They were the first free Black Americans in America. They owned property, they owned slaves, they had society. Basically based off of French society.
What African language do we speak? Oh, my bad. I'm adjusting the comment.
Those Negroes were speaking French. They was.
Yeah, my mother said my grandfather and them spoke. It was broken French, but they did speak French. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to step down. The funny thing about that, like I said, my mother is 82 years old and didn't know who she was. But the funny thing about that is when she spoke about her grandfather, she said, well, I remember him as a little girl. And she said to me, I always thought he just looked like a white man with blue eyes. And I said, Mama, that's because he was a white man with blue eyes.
What?
So, but anyways, I'm going to step down from there.
You just said Jesus was a white man with blue eyes?
No.
He was French. Oh yeah. Well, no. What my great grandmother says my mother says black.
Right. I do want to add that though, like the conversation about Creole and people in the Louisiana area, that's a bit of a separate conversation than the rest of like Black Americans as far as like identity and their mix up because they were originally colonized by the French. So it's a little different in that area specifically, but
yeah, y'all kind of new Creole.
And they were the first to be freed and do what they really wanted to. You know what I mean? As long as they never left their state.
Right. Yeah, they did have more progressive things under French rule. Yes.
Now they could travel. They would go to Haiti. They would go to France. They were educated over there. They was.
Yes, I just said they were more progressive. Yes.
But all right,
my grandmother could pass for white tea, but you couldn't tell her that she was white tea or she was mixed. She'd get upset if you told her she wasn't black.
Well, for sure. Shout out to Granny then. But yeah, what's his name? L Lion. What African language? What L what?
El Elyon.
El Elyon. What African language we speak over here?
I mean, there's a lot of African Americans that speak Zambian. They speak Nigerian. They speak.
Are they from Zambia and Nigeria? They must have been immigrants.
No, their parents, their grandparents, like
they're immigrants. Yes.
Not all of them.
Yes, they are.
The better question is that not enough Black Americans are speaking African language, but there's definitely Black Americans speaking African languages.
Yeah, because they're immigrants. Yes.
Why would it benefit us to learn one of those languages?
Wait, but go ahead. I want to hear Elian's like. Where are you going with this, Elian?
I'm saying that I understand the message and like what it's trying to do, but it's doing like the complete opposite because instead of focusing on the things they don't, I would rephrase it as not enough to not,
it's more than plenty. It's more than plenty. If they immigrated from those countries and they're speaking their language here, that's because they immigrated here.
Yeah, and sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we need more. No, we don't need more of us to speak. If we're not from there,
you are from there though.
I'm not. Hold on, one second. Where are you from, El Elyon?
I'm from Africa as well. Not
what part? What part of Africa are you from?
No, I'm not actually saying that. Like I'm African right now, but
no. What part? Where are you from, yo?
Olmec, Aslan. Yeah.
You're not. No. What?
Because you look. What's true?
Hold on, 1 second. Hold on. I'm speaking. Hold on. I'm speaking. I'm still trying to speak. Like what? Okay, so you're Olmec.
You're Mexican.
Hold on 1 second. All right, come on, dude. I'm trying to. Y'all hear me trying to speak? Like, come on. So you said you're Olmec. Are you 100% Olmec?
No, I'm not.
So what other admixtures you got?
Basically all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So can you name 10 tribes east of the Mississippi in the United States?
Cherokee, Apache, Navajo.
Cherokee, Apache, and Navajo are not east of the Mississippi.
Okay, no, I don't.
That's Arizona.
Yeah, I know. Those are the ones I'm familiar with. I'm not from.
Oh, you don't know no tribes. You don't know no tribes on the eastern coast of the United States.
That's not where I'm from. That's not my word.
Okay, so why? So you're speaking. You're talking to people that's mostly from the southeast and the east coast. So how are you gonna tell us our history, where we're from, sir?
Oh. Because our phenotype skin color is a reflection
what does an Indian look like?
They look different. There's not
what does it look? Just one is different types of looks.
Not.
Oh yeah, there's different types of look. Oh, so that means they could look like anything, right?
Yeah, they can.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm telling you, they look like us. How about that?
I am too.
I don't think so.
That's literally what I'm saying.
Can I ask him a question? Hoppo, why is you here? Hoppo, why is you here?
Why not?
Doesn't concern you. Like, what?
Are you intimidated or what is it?
No.
No.
Do you feel inferior to me?
This is a very melanated conversation for somebody who's not melanated enough.
Yeah,
How
Ilian,
am I not melanated?
There's no
what's up?
melanin there. He's
All right,
Wait,
speaking.
hold on,
Okay.
Ilian. I think for me, it's just the fact that you have like the audacity to come in a conversation and tell people because of what you think they look phenotypically what they should be speaking and what they
I
shouldn't.
never said you guys should be.
You
speaking on
came
this
up
show.
on the panel and you literally said more of you guys should be speaking African, and people who are Nigerian.
If you choose not to, that's your choice. But like in my opinion,
but why are you saying that we specifically need to be speaking African?
because I have a love and admiration for your heritage, and I want you guys.
That
to
ain't our
preserve it.
heritage. No, like that's not our heritage.
here's
We're telling
again.
you.
Exactly.
We're
Like
telling you
somebody
that.
have to
So
know.
what is your
All right,
heritage?
dude. All right.
Educate
What-
me.
No. We said we're from America. Your opinion irrelevant. We from America. I already told you that.
America's only 250 years old.
Dude, shut the fuck up.
Name.
You know what the fuck I'm talking about, dude.
Are you
Shut the
talking? No,
Stop being obtuse, dude.
you just want
Why
to
do
be the
y'all
smartest.
why do y'all play obtuse on purpose, dude? You know what the fuck I'm talking about when I say America.
You just want
Like,
to create a conflict.
I'm
to,
not.
like,
No. I want you to know what the fuck you're talking about. Stop speaking on things you don't know about, yo. You don't know us. Stop speaking on us if you don't know us. You want us to respect our heritage. We literally told you. I literally just said most of us are from the southeast and the eastern woodlands, southeast, northeast, eastern woodlands. I literally told you that east of the Mississippi. You're saying, "Oh, I want you to embrace your African heritage, nigga. Who are you?"
For real.
So
Like what?
okay. So then, like I said, educate me. So if
No. Get your
All right,
musty ass
exactly.
off my.
Not
Get your
all
musty
black
ass off
people
my
in
panel.
America are from Africa.
You should
is what
have
Stacey's
came
trying
with
to
that.
say.
I understand. You should have came wanting to learn instead of think you know every fucking thing. Who you
Trying to get us to not do what we're doing because he knows that it makes a lot of sense and it's gonna start making people think, and he don't want that. That's why.
And the funny part is, their only point of where they think they're indigenous is based off of oral things that they've been told. Like they have no other credence to America other than orally what they've been told.
Well, you got to admit that they did nobody has been reclassified more than the American Negro, is what you want to call it. That. Nobody.
That's true.
And they'll even tell you there was black natives that were enslaved with the Negro and from even from other tribes. So it's like, what is the black native? What is that? When they go back to those books, what are they talking about?
New too. Come on.
I mean, but
Right. Them folks even stole our color talking about they brown. They not brown.
Black
They done
indigenous.
co-opted everything.
Crayons.
Why would they put
They
that
not
down?
brown.
I think it's
Now, me, I believe
it's too many mics. It's too many mics on one mic. One mic.
For me, I do believe my lineage did come from Africa, but there's already evidence that there was already black people here. On any other continent in the world, the first person that was ever there was Asia, Negro, Europe, Negro. So why would America be any different?
So, where's everybody from?
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Me?
Yeah, you. Whoever just asked.
Oh.
Where are you from?
I am from Texas. My parents are from Jamaica.
Parents. So, all right. So, what you got to do with this conversation?
I was reading the question.
Yeah, why
above
don't
your
black?
head.
Yeah, people from the United States. Yes.
Oh, a child that's only educated at school is half educated. It all starts at home.
What the fuck are you trying to say? Like, why do y'all make like who do y'all think y'all talking to?
Yeah, what did that mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, the fuck do y'all like? Who do y'all think y'all be talking to? Huh? Oh, now you quiet. Get your goofy ass off my stage.
Well, his name was Smurf. He might have been blue and just, I don't know, thought he was black. I'm not quite sure.
He might have been blue. He might have been blue. I bet he's feeling blue now. I done kicked his ass off the panel. I thought you was about to say inferiority complex because he's a Smurf, but that works too, I guess. He's very copper colored.
issue with my issue with the question of indigeneity is that when you talk to people from Mexico or Siberian natives, they have this intent to make the look of natives of the entire America continent a one look kind of thing. Like they want to be the face of the entire America's continent of indigenous. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, that shit is crazy. But yeah, we got new people on the stage. We got Ona, or we got Fino. What's up, Sincere? Hey, Venus.
Good evening. How's it going?
All right, good evening. What's up?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever been. I've traveled. I was a DJ. I traveled all over the U.S. Louisiana has a lot of African Americans that are really into the Creole and Haitian stuff, hoodoo, voodoo. That's it.
What's up, Tara?
Voodoo is American. Don't have anything to do with Haitians.
And
also, Louisiana Creole voodoo is different than Haitian voodoo. They're completely different.
I bet it is. I'm not doubting that.
And just to emphasize so people, when you speak of Louisiana and Creole specifically, they were under French rule. So they had different types of that their situation is a little different than what we're talking about.
You guys are more bothered about the issue, like why don't they speak like Swahili or Zulu or something like that pertaining to?
Where are you from? Where are you from?
I was born in Germany, but I live in Albuquerque.
You were born in Germany, but you live in Albuquerque. What you gotta do with this conversation?
Papa, why is they here?
I'm interracial. I'm interracial. My father's black.
Your dad's black from America? What you a army base baby?
Yes, sir.
Your dad's half black. So you have black. Your dad from
Yeah,
America?
I don't look black at all, but for some reason it says I'm 12% Nigerian. So
That's made up, sir.
All right, sir. But yeah, is your dad from America?
yes, sir. Yes, both my parents were born and raised in New Mexico.
New Mexico. Okay.
They're both Caucasian, right? As well.
No.
You said
My
his
father's really dark.
Why are you
My
talking about
mom's
12%
really
Nigerian?
white, and my father's really black.
Wait, so what is your father?
So they came together.
I don't know. He left us when I was 11.
You're trolling.
So why?
Are you trolling? Yeah, this sound. Yeah, goodbye.
Yeah.
This sound like he trolling. Hell yeah.
It's trolling.
Goodbye.
That's a white man.
Oh, EYT.
He said I'm 12%.
12% Nigerian. I was like, you ain't one of us. What is you even here? This is a Black American conversation. If you
Have a good day. Oh, DYT.
You say, yeah, the white man.
What's up, Tyron?
What's good, Darvid? To answer the ninth prompt, why don't Black Americans speak African languages? I don't think we ever did, because if we did, our parents would have raised us up on speaking Wolof, Mandinka, all types of shit, but we don't have any retentions of that. What they try to reach for is like broken English, the red herring outlier, which is the Creolized lingua francas that we use today, which it could mean anything because it's a language of no native speakers. And in Africa, they got thousands of language groups. And over here in the Americas, we have many language groups. It's just that we've been cut off from speaking indigenous American languages because many of the quote unquote chattel slaves or
what's up, Will?
Free Black communities or maroon communities, their first languages were Indian dialects. Their second languages were English or Portuguese or French or whatever, whoever was containing them and trading with them and also enslaving them. Do y'all agree?
From anybody. Like we don't have any from the so-called Europeans. Okay.
Like
when
the
they
good
came
ain't
over
breath.
here.
Yeah.
And we got to remember, Europeans were black as well.
were the ones who built Europe, actually. The first people in
And
Europe.
stop them from eating each other.
Mhm.
Then they kicked them out.
And what I come back to,
But how do y'all know that?
where the ops at?
I know I did mine.
Specifically the big, no, never mind.
But if the world, hold on, if the world is technically black, wouldn't Europe have at least some Aboriginal black people there?
They're still there.
They're
They
showing
hide
you
them
that.
on every continent.
They
They
just not
hide
showing
them.
you that.
Why would you just limit it to just Africa when it's global?
That's why they came up with the concept of whiteness. When they got on their boats and left Europe in 1492, everywhere they went, guess what they saw? Brown, deep brown, Mo Brown, jet black. That's why they came up with the concept of whiteness, because they were outnumbered and they knew it.
If you need more ops, you can drop me. If you have an op, they will come up.
I think that the
I mean, I
concept
don't
of
see nobody,
whiteness
no ops right now.
was created because they wanted to make themselves the original people. You see how like
I just said the ops not outside. Oh, my bad, go ahead, my bad, Tyron.
But I think the concept of whiteness, it all had to do with them being jealous of everywhere they
That
went. They
too.
kept seeing your melanated people. And so they wanted to prop themselves up as the original inhabitants with their own like system. So they pick and choose who gets to be YTs and who gets to be the undesirables. Like, say, for example, in Egyptology, they like to prop that up and they claim North Africans and the Horners. You know what the Horners are. It's the Somalis, the Djiboutians, the Eritreans, Ethiopians that are in the Arab League. And that's why you got like the Hutu and Tutsi genocides going on that in the past. Or they'll claim southern Africans like the Khoi people and try and distinguish them from the Zulus and the the so-called Bantu, what they classify as Bantu. And also they'll sit up here and differentiate the Nubians from the other Africans. In one breath, they'll say that they were getting enslaved by the ancient Egyptians and they were mistreating them, but also they removed the Sudanese state up out of Africa and put it in the Arab League as well, like Myron Gaines. And also
everybody look like you.
Indians, Arabs, and heck, they fetishize the Asians, like the Japanese, the Koreans, and Taiwanese.
Asians,
And
Caucasians.
even when it comes to us over here, they give YT status to Mongol-style Native Americans and prop them up as the original inhabitants while calling us Africans.
Yo.
Which y'all got it.
Y'all, for sure. Dang, where the ops at? Any more ops? No? I know, go ahead. What's up, Jarvis? What's up, Santana?
How you doing tonight? Hey, that don't make sense though. Like, like how they bought Africans and Asians to work the railroads. Like, wouldn't our language still would have been like stuck a little bit? Like, if it was like if we were from Africa, wouldn't that language would have been stuck? Because like if Native Americans like make they shit stick and they still use their language to this day, like I don't see how that work. If some of them were slaves too, how would that even work? If we were really from that, we would have had that language.
Right. I brought it up early. Like folks was able to pass down touch.
Yeah, because we if we quote unquote been here 400 years, come on now. That shit just ain't gonna disappear like that.
Yeah, even if it was a small community, someone would be able to retain that.
That's right.
Even if it was a small community. And we'd be learning about it now since we're in the social media area.
And even if you go to South Africa, right, they were colonized and they were taught, the European language and everything, right? And they made it number one over there. But guess what? They still hold on to what? Their accents. Okay, that goes nowhere.
But the thing is, the African wasn't enslaved for 400 years. They were only enslaved for about like 200 years.
Yeah,
it was the Indian that was the slave
around them, being around them and being forced to have their language. That's what I'm speaking of.
Sure. Let's get up to 40,000 likes, y'all. Like the live if you're not a booty scratcher. Thank you for the gifts. Donations. Donations. Donations.
And get this man your grit money, your Nike money.
Yeah, I need your Jordan's money. I need your Don Julio money.
Honey, get your Gucci money, your haircut money, light
Hey,
bill
yeah.
money.
Hey, yo, that's hilarious. Apparently his school got vandalized or something like that. Y'all hear that? Dr. Umar's school got vandalized, broken into.
Oh, he finally built it?
Apparently. But somebody broke it. I saw it somewhere. Let me go find it. Dr. Umar, I saw it on Twitter. Dr.
I didn't
Umar's
know he
school.
built it. They were saying he scammed everybody.
I mean, I saw him painting it back in 2020. So people were out there painting it. Y'all just broke into. Yeah, somebody broke into a school, apparently. Yeah, child, someone. Yeah, this is 2 days ago. Facebook. What did they steal? Somebody said it's probably an inside job. Umar probably set that shit up so he had to open it.
And oh yeah, hey, about that dude that said like he was Olmec or something like that. Like, do he know like that them people was like dispersed? They had like it's like a missing tribe basically. Them people dispersed all over the east and west coast. So like, how would they even know? And they ain't got no type of like you know like how people like write down their history and shit like that. But
Exactly.
like, they ain't good at that.
He does it.
Yeah,
now.
they even say you can't even trace yourself back to Olmecs because they so old. Like
Yeah, older like old.
Yeah, like they old. So
like they were there before like the Mayans, all of them. Like they don't even know what the real Olmec look like.
it's all know. Dr. Umar school is supposed to open next year in September. What?
Really?
I don't know. This is coming from this on Delaware News.
Does he from? I think he's from North Philly.
Oh, you from North Philly? But nah. So I'm reading up on it. They said serious setback. That they damaged his resources and cultural items. 5,000 a destruction of 5,000 book library, various cultural artifacts, and educational supplies. Thousands of books. Wow. Well, yeah, I think it might be opening in Philly. Yeah, all right. I was in high school when he was talking about the goddamn school.
Yeah,
I graduated 10 years ago from high school.
He ain't building no school.
In 2013, he had that St. Paul's College school scam going on. He ain't built that shit up.
He been at
let
least
that
talking
slip
about
through
that
his
school.
fingers.
He been talking about the school at least since 2012, 2013.
Well, if you follow Lennon Honor, he said it goes all the way back to 2005.
Oh, brother, it's been 20 years? What the
Yes.
fuck? Oh, brother.
Heck, even the UNIA kicked him out, according to like their documents from what Lennon Honor tracked down. He wanted to turn that St. Paul's College into like a cult compound in the shape of Africa.
Wow.
And he not only was it a boys' school, it was also a school for girls. He named it after Frederick Douglass's wife and Marcus Garvey's wife. But he let that shit die.
I don't trust him with now one, the boys or the girls. I don't trust Dr. Umar.
Yeah.
He do seem like an industry plant.
Yeah, he ain't on nothing. He just going around get paid.
But Darvin, how's that website or app coming along?
I gotta figure out how to deploy it again. I mean, I know this is complicated how to deploy it again. Because it's a decentralized app. I mean, I sent your sister like the website prototype I got.
I bet.
But I don't know, it's not loaded for some reason. So I gotta find a way to redeploy it. I was gonna have this live wasn't gonna be about this originally, but I woke up My site ain't even fucking working. I was gonna have like a showing off the demo and giving the website link to those who's interested, but that is delayed.
Oh no! I put right there.
What's up, Kirby?
Where that comes from
Kirby
from
must not.
school.
Kobe must not meant to come up here.
My solo.
Yeah, Kirby must not have come up here. Thank y'all for the likes. I guess Mother Nurture is the only one that's not a booty scratcher in here. I need like all 52 people tapping their screen. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Oh man, it's good to be unshadow banned at least on TikTok. And I had to go off today. What's up, child of the day? What's up, Martel?
Yeah, we don't speak the languages because it's not our language. Period. That's it. That's all.
For sure. Was Fishowski chilling too? Peace to you, my bro. For sure. Yeah, I'm chilling too. I'm just on here. Our language. What's up, Davido? What's up, cuz?
I mean, English is like a Germanic language, right?
It depends what dialect of English. Fire build. American. We speak American English, so that's based off our languages over here.
And English would be considered a lingua franca too, because keep in mind, authentic Europeans never spoke English. They spoke ye old English. They spoke Celtic. They spoke all types of things.
Right.
Possibility that the English language and slang came from us.
Yeah. The teacher said we were bilingual. You know, they used to tell us that we saying stuff wrong, but ain't and finna and fitna, that's a part of our language.
Right.
They just didn't know what we was talking about.
But it's just part of the way that we used to speak as far as our native languages were. But they're calling it phonics. Come on now.
And the way we say ask, that's ancient.
Yeah.
And it carried over. We can't help it. I be trying to say it the other way. Ask me a question. I can't say it for nothing in this world.
That's not us. That's why.
Right. That's ancient, that word though. Ask. It carried over through our DNA.
Even if you like listen like to patois,
I read that.
it's
somewhere.
like they language is mixed. Like it's the original language and they use English like with it.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
they
so-
was using F's for S's.
Yeah, you gotta think about it.
When they came over here from us, not us. I mean, even if you look at those old slave movies, right? Listen to them. They're talking about, come on, y'all got this. First of all, that is not how the colonizers spoke. But you had slaves talking like that. Be quiet. They even tell on themselves in movies.
Right. And I don't believe that. That stuff is for their self-esteem. Like, can't nobody walk up on me and hit me now. I know they weren't going for that.
Even Bruce was so fake. And
they
what's
sued
his
Alex
name was
Haley
so
for
fake.
that. You know, he
Alex
got
Haley,
sued.
fake. Come on now.
They sued him for $500,000. He had to pay because it was a fictional story.
Man.
Yep, they paid him to do that though.
I'm about to change the topic up. You already know. I guess, yeah.
Fictional story.
Just to point everybody to Africa and to still do what they did, take our land. We the heirs of the
Because
land.
why would they consider them Guinea man? Like you're not where we from.
Hold on, I'll be back.
Like it gave half of the truth and.
Bro, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? But he was a higher belt, so I couldn't say nothing. But like,
Oh All right, we're here. The live will begin short. Okay. All right, cool. What's up? What's up? What it do? What it do? Be back in the thing, yo. What's up, Claude? What it do? Who on live? What's up? What's up, Groove? What? Yeah, that's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. All right, no, as soon as I breathe on live, I need 1,000 likes. What's up, Wavy? What's up, Wavy? Where the legs at, Mo? Where the legs at, Mo? When's the next time we'll be in DC? What's up, Beverly Hill? Are you just one hill? You're just one hill, Beverly Hill? Not Beverly Hills, just Beverly Hill. Unless that's your actual name, then that'd be cool. That's a cool name. What's up, Kimberly? What's up, Mother Nurture? What's up, girly girl? It is. Oh man, excuse me. Donations. What's up, Barry?
Hello, are you a fellow pretendian?
Where you from?
Where you from? I am Irish Nigerian.
You're an Irish Nigerian?
Yup.
So you speak Yoruba or Gaelic?
Gang, gang. I speak both,
You
actually.
spoke this. Speak to me right now.
Okay, and Gaelic first.
And Gillicuddy,
Okay, Diagwit Kennesatatu.
Okay.
That means, hey, how are you? And then in Yoruba, what can I say?
How many
I
followers
bake.
you got?
I de campe. That means I'm good. I'm good.
You're good. You're good. Why you say
Yeah.
it to me like that?
That's just how, because you're American. American.
I'm American. What would that
Yeah,
mean?
that's how you guys speak.
That's how we speak. Who account you on? This somebody out. This your friend account you on right now?
That's crazy. That's me in the profile picture. You can't see that? It's me.
You on your friend profile pic, your
No,
account,
this
right?
is
Who
my
let
this
you
is
on
my
their
account.
TikTok? You 18 plus?
Yeah, I'm 24.
24. You live in the States or you
24.
live
24.
you live in the States?
No, I live in the UK.
You live in the UK. What
Can
you
we
doing in
speak on
the
the
UK?
topic, please?
Like
What's
what
the
you doing?
interrogation? What's
What
the
you doing in
interrogation?
the what you doing in the UK?
Good question. Get me out of here.
What you
Good
doing?
question.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Get you out the UK, but you there. Why you in the
Yeah, I
UK?
don't know why I'm in the UK, guys, but
Why you in the why
it's
ain't you in the
brutal.
Isles?
It's brutal out here.
Why you ain't
Sorry?
in the Isles? Why you in the Isles of Ireland?
The Isles of Ireland.
Yeah.
No, Ireland is nice. The only thing about Ireland is that there's not much going on. Even in Dublin, there's not much going on. I would pose that every single bar in Dublin, they know me because I've been there so much as a child and just
What you be
walking
sipping
around.
on?
Guys, I don't drink. I'm boring.
You don't drink.
Nah.
You
But
Irish
you know
and
what's
you don't
crazy?
drink?
Do you know what's crazy? I go out and like I don't need a drink, and people think I'm drunk. So I don't know if that's a good thing or if that's a bad thing. But I can go out and hit the club and I don't drink.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't drink.
You know what you are. When the last
But
time
you
you
know,
been to you're Nigeria?
but you know, in Ireland as well, I would say because people start drinking so young, most of my friends who did drink don't drink as much anymore either. Because like they did all of that when they were really young and now they're just kind of over it. So they might have a sip of wine here and there, but yeah,
When
it's funny.
Yeah. When the last time you been to Nigeria?
Don't ask me any more questions.
Why not? You on my panel,
I came up to talk about that topic.
and
Hello.
and you're talking to me.
Okay,
Hello.
are you from
You on my?
Louisiana?
No, I'm not from Louisiana.
Okay, let me guess. Don't tell me. Are you from Texas? This
I'm
ain't
not from Texas.
Texas.
I'm not from
Hey,
Texas.
Texas hold
I asked you when the last time you been to Nigeria. Hello.
Guys, I'm gonna go soon.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you came to the wrong live.
Wait, have you been to Nigeria?
No.
Oh, I was just disappointed.
You want me? You gonna fly me out?
Nah, stranger danger and all that.
Yeah. If you disappointed, I ain't been to Nigeria. Like you was gonna fly me out.
What am I supposed to? Where would I put you?
Get your daddy.
I fly you out? I don't do that for guys.
Get your daddy royalty check and fly me out. Since you disappointed, I ain't never been there yet.
That's crazy.
Your daddy was a Nigerian prince.
Are you an FBA?
Am I FBA? I'm not FBA.
Are you one of those FBAs? Just be honest. It's okay.
I'm not. You would hear me. I would have said I was FBA if I was.
Are you one of those indigenous Americans?
Yeah, I'm indigenous.
Dun dun dun. It's all coming out now, guys. It's all coming out now.
Yeah, she about to fly. She about to fly me out, yo.
So you believe that no offense.
I don't believe nothing. I don't believe nothing.
You believe that no offense. The way you look, no offense.
What you look like?
Came from, you're a native? Baby, do you think you look like a native?
I'm not a native. I ain't say I was native.
So you're just indigenous, like you're just a foundation. I don't know.
I'm American, shorty. I'm an American, shorty.
Duh. But you think you're
I'm an
like
American,
indigenous
shorty.
to the land,
I'm big. I'm a big American. Big
but
American.
you think you're indigenous to the land, though?
Yeah. What you think? How long? Why aren't you in Nigeria? Why aren't you in Nigeria?
Because my parents.
Is your daddy in Nigeria?
No, actually.
Why your daddy flee?
He didn't flee.
Yes, he did.
Not at all. My parents, they went to uni in the UK, and they kind of
went to uni in the UK. Why your daddy went to the UK and never left, came back? Why?
Never went back to Nigeria.
Why?
That's not true, though. He
went back. Why he go back to stay?
They are planning on going back to stay.
You going with them?
But see, I definitely am. I think I can't retire here. I'll be real. There's a big thing, and especially Yoruba culture, about going back to Nigeria.
What's the thing? Tell me.
Oh, he's drunk. That's why.
I'm not even drunk.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
no,
you
I'm
are.
not.
Yeah, you are. You are.
Tell me.
Google any famous Black person in America. It will say American.
Osiris has no big back.
I don't understand what that's supposed to mean. Do you have your? Did you get your shots? Everybody's being xenophobic in the chat.
I don't even know.
You guys said you guys were xenophobic.
Who's saying that in the chat? She low key. Yeah, she low key a little funny. She low key a little funny. She low key a little you.
But I feel like people that have to be like that are a little bit, Oh, are you Hebrew? Are you Hebrew Israelite?
I ain't no damn Hebrew Israelite.
Oh, damn! I've been looking for a Hebrew Israelite to talk to you.
So why you want to talk to an American so bad? You want to get what you need? What you want a visa or something?
No, I just be yapping on this app. I don't really.
You just be yapping. Why you just yapping?
And guys, I don't actually genuinely, I actually don't think I could live in America. There's too much going on there for me. Like genuinely. I think you guys but I'm serious.
We don't want you over here either. So
okay,
that makes it.
That's perfectly perfect.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to like the things that African Americans have to navigate, I don't ever want to have to navigate those things.
Who the hell is African American? We don't know what that is.
Oh, Black American, sorry.
Yeah, we don't.
But if you think you're foundational though, do you class yourself as Black? That's the
I'm
question
American Indian, shorty.
Yeah, so you're American Indian, right? So
yeah, that's what the government acknowledges me at.
Okay, stop freaking out. Do you class yourself?
I ain't freaking out.
You're freaking out.
I'm American Indian, shorty.
You're American Indian, but you're Black.
Yeah, shorty. Yeah, shorty. I'm ethnically Black. So what?
You think if you did a DNA test, it'd say the same thing?
You take a DNA test?
I've done a DNA test, yeah.
Name the oldest ancestor you found one.
My oldest ancestor.
Yeah, where were they born? Where were they born at?
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. I don't think I.
You don't think you, how you take a DNA? How you take a DNA test and they check?
Guys, I was
Hello?
more
What
concerned.
is going
Okay,
on
I'm gonna be
here?
real. I'm gonna be
What?
real. Okay, let me be honest. I was more concerned about the countries. I didn't really care about
How
that
many
part.
cousins? You look at your
That's so
cousins.
bad.
You look at your
Sorry?
cousins. Did you look at your cousins? Your matches?
Not. Oh my. I don't think I got a match. To be honest, I didn't get a match.
You
Like
ain't
I
get no.
didn't get.
What test you
Yeah, I
take?
didn't get it. I got the ancestry DNA test.
You got the answer. So you
Yeah.
ain't matched with no cousins, nobody.
I didn't mess with anyone, guys. That's kind of sad, actually.
Oh
But yeah,
yeah,
when it
that's
came
kind of.
when it
You ain't
came
got no
to
cousins. That's crazy.
yeah, but when it came, yeah, I didn't get any like matches with other people. But I did my test pretty early though, so that could be why as well.
What year you do that in?
I'm pretty sure I did it in like 2018.
In
So that's kind of early.
2018.
Yeah, that's kind of
I'm
early
sure
for
they had
ancestry
cousin
DNA test.
matches. I'm sure they had
No,
cousin
I
matches
think
in 2018.
it's early for Nigerians to jump on that. Why? See,
Niger,
this is the thing.
Nigerian.
Why do that's the thing I notice about like Black Americans a lot. You guys be thinking everybody's lying. Why?
Cause y'all be
Why did I
lying.
lie about that?
Cause y'all be lying.
Mm, I
We
don't
know
know.
we know when people be lying.
Okay, well, yeah, I didn't check that part, but I got what I found interesting is obviously I'm Yoruba, right?
Uh-huh.
And the Yoruba tribe is in a few countries, Benin, Cameroon, Togo, and I got Nigeria, Benin, Cameroon, and Togo, so which is really funny. So I'm deeply Yoruba, deeply Nigerian.
What clan your mama is?
Yoruba. It's not clan,
I
it's
thought your
tribe.
mom was. I thought your
It's
mom was.
tribe.
I thought. Hold on. Which one is Irish? Which one of your parents is
Okay.
Irish?
Let me clarify. I'm Irish by nationality,
Oh, you're
and I'm ethnically Nigerian, and
you're
obviously
at you're.
Nigerian by ethnicity
Why
too.
why? Well, how you think? Why you had me think you was mixed?
That's not my problem. What you thought.
So
That's not my problem. What you thought. You
your
should have
mama's
asked me
Yoruba
that
too.
time.
Your mama
Yeah,
Yoruba too.
both of my parents are Yoruba. Yeah,
Both your parents is Yoruba.
I know. How could I be so lucky?
How could you be so lucky? So you
Mm-hmm.
had both
Yeah,
your so both your parents just so
European.
happened to meet in the UK.
It just happened. Yeah, actually, no. I think it's actually a funny story. My dad actually met my mom when they were like 16, and it's a funny story. He
Are they the
wouldn't leave
same
her
age?
alone. Yeah, they're the same age. Yeah, they're the same age.
Mm-hmm.
So he met her like when they were 16, and he wouldn't leave her alone. Like he'd always come to her house and stuff. And then when my mom left for uni, she was like, "Oh my gosh, finally getting rid of that guy," just to bump into him again in the UK, which is funny. And then obviously they got together, whatever. So.
You be talking to the elders back in the village in Nigeria?
Oh, the elders.
Yeah.
It depends. Like, what do you mean the elders as in like the
people in the village?
Enugu.
Yeah, whatever you say. Yeah, whatever you call them. Yeah.
No, so there's different types of elders. So obviously there's elders as in just like the older groups of people, and then there's the Enugu, which is basically like the elders that kind of enforce like village like standards.
Well, let me say like where your grandma say she was from.
My grandma?
Yeah. What's your grandma oral tradition? Where she say she come from?
My grandma is also Yoruba.
Yeah, where she
All
say
my
y'all come
grandmas
from?
My grandma's Yoruba. You don't have to say where we come from.
Say why not?
Because it's a given. It's a given.
The Yoruba say they came from Middle East. You from the Middle East?
No, who's saying that?
There's
Who's saying that?
There's Yoruba that say they came from the Middle East.
Who's saying that? I think
The
those people
Yoruba.
that are. I think the people that are saying that are probably ones that are like the Muslims, because they're trying to have that tie to Mecca. So
Trying to get that tie.
yeah,
So
because
you
when
tell
it
me
comes
you're not
to
you tell me you're not Arab?
no, when it comes to the Yoruba tribe, I think it's 52% are Muslim. So majority of us are Muslim. So I think a lot of the Muslims, I don't even think a lot of them, I think a few Muslims I could see them saying something like, oh, everybody comes from Mecca. I could see that.
No, they
being
say the
said.
Yoruba came from Mecca.
That's
Or
not
not
true.
Mecca, Saudi Arabia.
That's not true. So I don't know where they got that from.
Shit.
But that's the thing. Some people are gonna say anything. I've been on lives, and I've literally a couple of hours ago I was on a live, and then there was an African American, and he was saying that you guys are from Virginia.
I am from Virginia.
You're
in
from
Maryland.
Virginia. Can you
I'm
expand
from
on that?
Virginia.
Because I didn't understand what he meant.
I'm from Maryland and Virginia.
Okay, so what does that mean though?
What you think it mean?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. So he's saying
Well,
that
shit,
his
Yeah.
ancestry ties back to Virginia.
Yeah. So what you think it mean?
I don't know. I'm asking.
Let's
I don't know these things.
let's put our thinking caps on.
Guys, see, this is the thing. I came here to learn. If I'm wrong, you can
You
teach
here?
me.
You here to learn?
I came here to understand why people feel like this and learn about
But you
how
called me
why
you called me a pretending as soon as you came up on the stage. So I'm going to believe that
because it's on the screen.
it's on the screen. Like,
You
so why
said
you call
are
me?
you said on the screen says are Black Americans pretending, so that's why I asked.
And you,
I posed it to you as a Black American.
I'm not a
That's why I
pretending.
posed the question to you.
So why you come up here and call me pretending?
Because I'm posing the question to you because you're a Black American.
You said
as
hello.
on the
You no, you ain't
screen.
posed the question to me. You said hello,
I
my
didn't.
fellow pretending.
I didn't say that. I
Yes,
would
you
not say
did. Yes, you
hello,
did.
my fellow. I don't say that. Hello, my fellow. That does not sound like what I would say, baby.
Like,
You don't ever run this
don't,
live back. Run this live back.
I would
Run it
like
back.
we can.
Run it back. Run this live back.
You
So
look.
far, I
That's the
found
first thing
records
you.
from 1790. Okay, I have a question actually. So these records that you're saying that are
You
your
know,
ancestors, right?
no,
Are
no. One
these
second. Hold on. We're not about to slide past. No, that's not how we do that. We're not about to slide past you calling me
bypass?
pretending.
That
You gonna
was
say
ages ago. Get
you gonna say
over it.
you gonna say
Get
you gonna say
over
you
it.
gonna say sorry?
No.
You gonna apologize?
See, this is the thing.
You gonna apologize?
I think it was your jumper that threw me off because I don't like that color. Is it red? Is it orange? I don't know.
Are you colorblind?
Maybe, baby. 'Cause
I'm
I don't know.
colorblind. It's orange.
Are you colorblind?
Yes, I'm literally go to Morgan State. The
Are
colors
you
are orange
actually
and blue.
colorblind?
Yes. What's funny about being colorblind?
It's not funny. It's just funny that you're colorblind. Being colorblind isn't funny, but it's funny that you're colorblind. The way you said it as well. Damn, that's crazy. The
You gonna
originated over
are you
here
gonna apologize? Yes or no?
to be gawk. What does that mean?
She's just gonna ignore me. Hello?
Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
Are you gonna apologize, ma'am?
For what?
Call me a
For
pretending.
asking you a question?
No, for calling me a
For
pretending.
asking you a question? I would like to learn more. Okay, if I'm wrong about the
No. That's not how it works here, man.
what you mean? Hey, Darvid, aren't we supposed to be like
You ain't about to sweet. You ain't
kinfolk,
about
skinfolk,
no.
kinfolk,
No.
skinfolk,
All
kinfolk,
skin folk,
skinfolk?
all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Like you about like you like 5 seconds away from getting booted.
Really?
Yes, like
Okay,
that
well,
sweet.
okay,
That
I'm
sweet.
sorry if that question offended you, but it didn't mean to. I was just joking around
Oh yeah, I was about to say like
because it's
yeah.
on screen. That's why I said, oh, all right, because you're a Black American. That's why I said,
All right,
all
yeah,
right,
we do. I'm about to start bringing folks up in. All right,
okay.
for
Is
sure.
there people
Like,
requesting?
I was about to say yeah. That sweet talk don't work over here.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, like you ain't. Yeah,
Gotta try something else.
yeah. We.
Sister.
You said no, keep her. I
Don't play
like
with
her.
me.
You
I
never
don't play
watched Sister
games at
Sister?
all. I don't play games at all.
Damn.
You understand?
Okay. Don't
All
play no
right, so
game.
don't do it.
I'm just joking with you, baby.
What part of that did you not understand?
Okay. Bad vibe.
So,
bad vibe.
what do
How
we
about
mean
you
by
come up here, Mello? So what you mean by what you say, Roman?
what do you mean by pretendians? What's a pretendian?
What you
Like
think it
pretend
is?
Indian?
Pretend,
Like
yeah.
a pretend Indian?
Yeah, like a pretend Indian. Yeah.
Like native?
Like how you
Yeah.
Unless you one of those few people who happen to like that your ancestors that came off the ship managed to
Hold up. Ain't nobody came off no ship. My grandfather is Quapaw. My
was brought
grandmother is
here.
Osage. We didn't have to go back a whole long time or nothing.
Okay,
Right.
well then that's awesome, and that's on an individual.
Right, I know it is.
That's
No,
on
yeah.
an
So
individual.
we're telling y'all, and y'all still don't believe that shit. Y'all still call us
like that.
pretending.
That's based off of
So,
an individual
all right,
basis,
cool.
but not.
Cool,
No,
sir.
I would like to know why you think that though. That's the question that I've never heard.
We're not
Because
thinking, we
when
know.
can I speak, please?
Not
How would
really.
I know? I'm not American. Not everybody's
We
American. So
know
not
that.
everybody's clued in on certain things. So if I'm on here trying to ask questions, you shouldn't be getting defensive.
But you're right.
Okay, because the host was
you
never
playing
defensive.
games. Like you
The
said,
host
you
was never
joke.
defensive
You
with
joke
me.
a lot, and we ain't
Because
joking.
when I got up here, me and the host were the only ones in here and we were joking
And?
around. That's why.
And?
So please understand
And?
that. Don't just be coming on here guns blazing. It's not a good
Don't
look,
worry about what
especially
I
at your
do.
age.
Is this your
It's not a
family,
good look.
ma'am? Until he say something to me, you
That was directed to you, babes.
So,
At your age, do better. I would never
Darvid,
do it like that ever.
Yeah,
You know what, honey?
hold on,
Let me tell you something. You
Tell me.
people
Okay, my bad.
people
Hold on.
got us toe up. We not thinking. We know who we are, and we have documented proof from several credible sources. So now what?
Okay, I'd
Okay,
like to
all
know
right.
the proof. I'd like to hear about it. I'd like to hear when you found out about it. All of that information I would like to know because I'm curious.
My
So when did you find out
is
about
not
that?
up for debate with you.
That's not a it's
Why y'all
not a
never
debate. It's
asked
a
us to take a
discussion.
DNA test to prove we from Africa?
I don't know why you're crashing out on me. You're not answering anything I'm
Again, my
saying.
question to you is, I'm not crashing. Why do y'all
Mm.
not ask for a DNA test to prove that we are African? It's real simple.
Why do we ask for a DNA? Somebody's making a
Because
lot of
it's
noise.
easier because the reason why is because Native Americans clearly look Native American. Like, yeah, they
What does
come
what do they look like? What does that look like?
people with a reddish brown complexion with straight black.
I'm reddish or brown complexion. So what the fuck are we
Nah,
talking about?
baby. They don't have hair like yours though.
My hair is
Off of
curly.
what,
They ain't got four
Word,
type
They
4 hair.
like what do they all have? Hold on
have
one
fur.
second. 1 second. Do they all have one look? Yes or no? What the fuck do they look like?
They do have a phenotypical look
All
to
right,
me.
but could you like honestly, like me, I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican, so I can
You're-
trace my
so
indigenousness
yes,
to
I
the
can
Tainos.
Yeah,
like the
yes. I have a cousin that resurrected the tribe in the 1900s. Do you?
Do I have? Yeah, they're still.
Did your
indigenous
cousin,
tribes in
right? Did your cousin resurrect the tribe in the 1900s? Yes or no?
resurrect the tribe in the 1900s.
What does that mean?
They brought back.
Apparently, he has a relative who resurrected.
They brought back a tribe that was quote unquote extinct in the 1900s. Do you have one of those?
Nah, my people are pretty much they have the little corner of PR. Like
my family is in history books. Are yours?
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, when we're having this
like
conversation,
name
right?
by name, like you can name them niggas. I can.
But see, this is the thing. Most African Americans are mixed when it comes to ancestry.
Who is most African Americans? Who?
Oh, so, okay, most Black Americans. Then.
No, no.
Most
who-
Black Americans are mixed
Mixed
with
with what?
ancestry, right?
Mixed like
We
all
are
right.
not
When,
black hope.
oh yeah. When did the Africans first get to the United States?
I wasn't there.
What
baby.
year? What year?
I wasn't there, baby.
What
I think
what
it was just 16.
16 what?
I'm gonna say 1695.
No, yeah, you
Yeah,
late. You
that's
late
a good
as
number
hell.
for me.
You late.
That's a good
Yeah, you
number
late
to
as-
me.
Like niggas talking about we mixed with some shit. Like they don't even know
No,
what
but I'm
year
saying
Africans
that you
got
guys
here.
have. So I would. Okay, I can pose that there are certain Black Americans that have native DNA. But I'm sorry, if you present
What is a
as
cert? Hold
Black,
on, man.
I'm still speaking.
No, I-
If you
Yeah,
present
no,
as
man.
Black to
Tell you
me,
what the
majority of
definition
your
of a
DNA
native
comes
is.
from Africa.
Have you looked
don't-
at the definition of a native?
I don't know why I'm speaking. When I'm
Exactly.
speaking.
Oh, 1 second.
You
Like,
need to go. You need to go look up the word native before you start talking
hold
about
on,
it.
1 second. Let me.
I know what it means,
I got
Babs. I just
this.
disagree with you.
1
I
second.
got what? Yeah, people like the first people don't even know the first people that called themselves natives wasn't even the people they think are native today.
They called the latter as
He
well.
ate that. He ate that. He
The
ate that. He ate that.
YT people were the first people to call themselves Native Americans.
Damn.
Like,
I
so what do
don't
we
think anybody ever was buying that.
like? What man? Come on, dude.
Yeah,
What
but
you
we
say,
can all say
Mello?
that they weren't. So
What you say, Mello?
I said I don't think anybody was like buying that for. I don't think anybody thinks they were the
yeah,
first
I
ones.
don't think so.
I think I don't know. I don't think I understand what pretendian means because like if we're talking about native, you're either native
Google what a
or you're
pretend.
not.
Google a pretending and see what pop up on Google.
They pay $5.
I didn't know it was
It
a
ain't nobody.
Googleable word. I thought you made it up.
No blood ties.
It ain't nobody that look like me if you Google pretending.
Okay, so Darvid, did you
Oh,
always
let
know
me
that you were an Indian?
Yes.
You
Yes, our
always say
families
how-
have been.
Oh.
Our families
no,
have
I'm
been.
asking a question.
Our families have been.
Calm your titties.
Our
That's a
families
question.
have. Are you gonna let
Okay,
me
I
answer
know
your that question?
No, I'm talking to Vita. Calm his titties down. That's a
I was
question.
about
I want to know.
What did I do?
Our
Because you're
family.
jumping in, making comments. I just want to ask.
Oh no. I even
You didn't say anything. I did. Wait,
Oh, oops.
Why are you going at me?
Oops.
I just
but anyway,
Misfire.
All right, hold on. All right, I'm trying to
I had to look
speak.
it up real quick.
People,
Okay.
You Google pretending ain't nobody that look like me on that motherfucker.
Mm.
And so, so with that being said, our folks been telling us this shit for years,
Mm.
years
So it's
upon
like
years.
it's something that you've known since forever.
Yeah, Indians ain't from like India wasn't even named that until 1947.
I have
Like,
known
can
my
we?
entire life exactly who I was. I possessed the land as well with the 2 cemeteries on it, one Quapaw, one Osage. So now what?
So I think, can I
I don't
jump
know
in?
why she's speaking to me. But in terms of when it comes to the
Playing games with our
conversation,
people's
then
bloodline and how I would choke you. That's why.
you couldn't do it.
Please.
You couldn't. You
So
couldn't.
Please.
You're too old for that. Your back will give out.
So
Your back
can
will
I?
give out.
All
To
right,
follow.
y'all. This what we gonna do. This is what we gonna reset the
No.
stage. This is what we gonna do. This is what we gonna do. No bones anywhere. This is what we gonna do. Yeah, welcome to the Darvin Osiris show. I'll drop everybody.
I just. I wanted to. I actually wanted to know.
Icy Cat, could you be quiet, please? You had them flow.
Excuse me.
All right.
Had the floor. Let Darvin talk, please.
That's literally what I said. I said I want to hear. I want to know the answer to the question.
Well, as I was saying, folks family been saying this shit forever, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But y'all, we got respect y'all. We got respect everybody else's oral traditions, but long and behold, we have oral traditions of our own. Oh, that's not the case. You gotta look at the science. Blah blah blah. Like, yeah, my bad. But yeah, niggas could say, oh, I'm Igbo, and we just wasn't believe niggas is Igbo because they said they Igbo.
What is Igbo?
Like, what the
Igbo's a
fuck is
tribe in
that?
Nigeria.
Did not know that.
Yeah,
Igbo is a
yeah.
tribe in Nigeria. So a lot of Black Americans, when they do DNA tests,
come back
it
up,
says Igbo
sister.
on there.
I don't seem to find any of
And
them.
the average Black American that takes those DNA tests don't understand what they're actually saying, because you're not talking about a person that was dead in the colonial and antebellum period. You're talking about families from the post-bellum period, which is the 20th century, the 1900s. So you cannot be a Igbo person in the 20th century. DNA can only take you to the 1900s. It can't go beyond that. So
you're saying these DNA tests aren't accurate?
Talking point is it's nonsense, because you can't find a West African relative based off of a genetic commercial test, because the human genome isn't fully discovered. And when you're saying that Native American DNA tests, for one, they have not captured the full spectrum of American Indian genetics, especially not the ones that were involved in the transatlantic slave trade in the Southeast and the Eastern woodlands, or the Caribbeans, let alone the Plains natives that were captured in the slave trade too. If you read the book Almond Willer Lawbird, American Indian Slavery Within the Colonial Limits of the United States, it tells you what kind of people that they were enslaving. And no, you don't even know the precise date of when alleged Africans arrived, which was 1626, not 1619, not.
No, I said 1675.
The only
Get it right.
dates that's counted is 1626 up to 1807, with an alleged extra from 1808 all the way up to 1860, which would be 400,000 alleged people.
And when was Nigeria established?
Why'd you want to know about Nigeria? See, this is what I've noticed a lot of you guys do. Now you're trying to bash
It was just a
Nigeria. Why?
question. It was just a question.
Same way you want to know about America.
I want to know.
I
about
never bashed him like that.
You said you're from Nigeria.
I am from Nigeria.
Yeah, so like, hold on real quick.
Okay, thanks for that. But I know what you're trying to do.
Let me
What's up, Sam? What's up, Sam?
One second.
One mic, please.
Sorry.
One mic.
I'm not getting that.
One mic on OG.
Hold on. Like, all I'm trying to say is, y'all see he wearing headphones. So when more than one person starts talking at once, it's a lot different than people who's talking through their phones. So be mindful of that.
Yeah, y'all get loud as hell, bro. Y'all be loud as hell in my ear.
Okay, so in terms of what Tyron was saying, so you think, babe, that you don't think they have the sample group to show that in the DNA test? Is that what you're trying to say?
They're not connecting you to no ancient person that was enslaved or indigenous person that was enslaved or was free and marooned out in the wilderness. They're not talking about that. What they're comparing you to is people that are alive today and saying that's your ancient ancestor when haplogroups overlap with other racial groups. And it can't pinpoint you to no ethnic group. Sure as hell can't pinpoint you to a tribe. All it is a hypothetical guess.
See, I would agree with that to a certain extent. I don't think DNA tests are completely accurate. I think they can give you the general gist, but when it comes to these percentages and stuff, I don't believe that either. Okay. But when it comes to DNA, it's not only about that, it's also about like your Y chromosome and your mitochondrial DNA, and then certain Y chromosomes, depending on how ancient the one you have, whatever, originate and stem from Africa. So we can say that your descent. Wait, can I finish? Wait, let me finish speaking. So we can say that your descendants stem from Africa based on your Y chromosome or your mitochondrial DNA, because some people have something called the Eve gene, and the Eve gene is inherently black African.
Hold that thought, because for one, the Y and the mtDNA test, that's only one branch. That's not the whole thing, because you got thousands upon thousands of ancestors the more you go back. And the relevant one would be the autosomal test. That's talking about your 8 generations within the postbellum period. Like I've been saying, we're not talking about going all the way back to apes and hominids and stuff like that. We're talking about relevant things such as tribal benefits.
But then
talking
didn't
about
you just say?
reparations. We're talking about connecting people to actual tribes here in the United States. We're not trying to go back to Africa.
Okay,
That's not our
so you said trying to go back, but then are you an indigenous? Would you class yourself as indigenous? Because
Yes.
how can you try and go back
Black
to somewhere if you
Americans
didn't
are
originate from there?
indigenous Americans by blood. By
Okay, but then
marriage,
how can you
by
go back to
culture.
somewhere if you didn't originate from there?
Ways of living before invaders came, like your folks. We going back to that. How
But I
our
think-
ancestors live, natural law.
Yeah, so that question is a little disingenuous, because everyone technically, if you believe in the out of Africa theory, everyone technically comes from Africa. But when we're talking about indigenous,
That is a
and we're
theory,
talking-
sir.
Right. Well, I said
don't-
that if you
I do not
go
believe
by
that
that, I
theory.
said if you go by the out of Africa theory, then technically yes, everyone can be traced
But
back to
they
Africa.
don't, so that's irrelevant what you're saying. Thanks
Wait,
for that, though.
who's we?
That's irrelevant what you're
How
saying,
is that
because
irrelevant?
they don't. The people that I'm directing the questions to don't believe
Right,
what
but
you're
no-
saying.
But
So
I'm
thanks
saying
for that, though.
that is the current hypothesis.
So you can't say my question is disingenuous.
up,
Yes,
Nirvana?
it
You're
is.
clearly not
Yes, it
listening to
is.
interpret. You're just
I
listening
am.
to
I'm
speak.
directly answering. I'm answering
Okay.
your question. I'm also on this panel, so that
My
is
other
not.
one got bananas.
Yeah, but then don't speak for everybody. Speak for
I'm
you.
not. I'm speaking to you. And
Yeah,
I
but
said,
speak for yourself.
I
Speak for yourself.
specifically said if you go by the out of Africa theory, if
You
so I'm
clarified
not
that, yeah,
saying
now.
I'm not saying if everyone. I'm speaking
All
for
right, one
myself.
mic, yo. I'm trying to follow the conversation. One mic, you know.
You can go ahead.
Yeah, let him yeah. Go ahead, Native.
I'm just saying, yeah, if you go by that theory, right now I subscribe to that because that's the only one that makes the most sense to me in my research. But I'm saying, so yes, you can technically date everybody back to Africa, but when we're talking about indigeneity, we're just talking about more so in modern terms, like within the last 500 or even, 1,000 or 2,000 years, someone's established a specific culture in a specific region. And I think a lot of Black Americans, myself, are saying that there are certain melanated groups in America with established distinct cultures that is separate from Africa-specific cultures. So anyone else can go.
All right, we got who have we heard from? What's up, New Era? What's up, Zeta?
The other count got banana.
God damn. What
So I had to
happened?
make
Yeah?
it back up.
Yeah.
I'm telling too much truth. And that's, they like to lie and talk about harassment and bullying with no freaking evidence.
That's crazy as hell, man.
I'll be back on the 20th though, on my other one.
I was about to say I'm about to have this app right there. Lightweight, he needs to stick, man. Shut the fuck up, Big Back.
Please hurry up. We're waiting on you.
Man, shut the fuck up, Big Back. I don't feel like Big Back bullshit today.
All I wanted to add to the conversation was it's a fact that was established point blank period. We was reclassified as Black, Negro, colored, freemen, etc. Point blank, period. So at the end of the day, if you do go back and you read these documents, hey, them documents hurt me to my soul when I realized what really happened to us and our people. Mind control ultra was very powerful. Look at what people do right now when it comes to race. White and black is war status, if you ask me. Do all the documents that I done printed out read? I got plenty of them. This was war on the people of this land, point blank period, to remove us from the land. So where would they put us? Africa. That was the whole thing. All the lost tribes went straight to Africa. I went even deeper and found out those people came from here too, but was kicked out. You know, you can lose your nationality or your citizenship. And if you lose that, then you have to go outside somewhere else and find someone that will accept you. And then you have to apply for their citizenship and so on and so forth. If you don't want to be a citizen or which means a member, right? But if you are a resident, it's different. That means you belong here, right? So those three different things right there. So that's all I had to add to it. So we know who he is.
I don't understand the points that
You are
making,
always
though.
here. You're correct, my love.
No, but what do you
Resident
mean by you went to
word.
Africa? What does that mean? Like, so you're saying
If you are under the status right now on your birth certificate, say black, Negro, colored, or freeman, you know for a fact you were of this land. They know too. They
okay,
have
but then
our
you
stuff
said
in
you mentioned
public
something
record.
about
We're the
going-
only group of people on earth that's ever been reclassified.
Facts.
Okay, so you mentioned something about going back to Africa. I wanted you to expand on that because I didn't
Yeah,
understand that.
ain't nobody trying to claim it. It's yours.
Who said that anyone wants to claim it?
We never came from Africa ever.
This is the thing. This is why I'm not trying to be rude, but this is why I always like practice self-love and like choosing the right partner, because I would never end up like you, girl, at your big age. Yuck.
What are you
Like,
talking
living
about?
on-
my gosh,
That's just,
dude.
that's sad. She's so bitter.
Honey,
Oh
She's so
my
bitter.
God.
It's
done
gross.
yet?
It's gross.
Are you done yet? Because see, the beautiful part about this is none of what you just said is true.
Bitter.
And that's the great part about it.
I'd be booed up
is
with
that
my
you
man
don't
at
know
your
what
age.
you're
I'd be
talking
booed up with my
about.
man.
So you
Hey,
wish. You wish.
I'd be booed up with my man.
At least
I'd
my
be-
hair can grow past the top
Yeah,
of my ear.
It's sad. No, I just think you're pathetic
All right,
because
look.
I haven't made mention to anything.
All
that's
right,
making
let's
snarky
keep the
comments.
let's keep the
Go
I just
to
think
your
it's
own
pathetic.
country and you ain't got to worry about it.
I do. I'm sorry.
Go
I do.
home. Go home.
So
and
if
you
you
ain't
made
got
a
to worry
point
about it.
that's
Go
actually
home.
relevant to the
Hurry up,
conversation,
pack and
maybe
go.
I'd appreciate
Pack
you.
and
All
go.
right, so,
They got
all
to
right,
get you a
so.
pod and go.
All right, we gonna have to set them motherfucker again. Like, bro, like keep the personal shots. Keep the personal shots away, yo. Like, come on, bro. Like, why you picking with that lady? Why are you picking with that lady? She didn't say. I don't even think she said nothing. Nah, to you. Like, that shit crazy, bro. Respect your elders. Trump sending all y'all back, but did you lie? Man, what? Like, that's petty as hell. She ain't say- like I was about to say, sis started even saying nothing. That time at least. Like she didn't even say nothing that time at least.
But
Like
the
she
other
didn't
girl,
say nothing that time.
I mean, she came on the other girl came on the panel trolling disrespectful.
So yeah, I was about to say, sis Star felt some type of way about you trolling me. Like, duh. Like what?
No, but it's frustrating when I'm asking questions and she's just making snarky comments while people are answering.
Well, you make
That's
snarky
weird.
comments too. Don't call.
No,
don't-
but
you make-
she's no. Come on, be for real though.
She
If I
make-
was her age, I'd be booed up with my man right now. What's she talking about? Yapping and screaming at girls. It's
You
weird.
don't know if she got. You don't know if she got a man or
It's
not.
strange to me. I don't. No, she
I don't
doesn't
know
have
if
to
she
agree
got-
with me. She doesn't have to agree with me at all. She can completely disagree with me, but it's the way she's presenting it. She hasn't made one point, by the way. She's just been like making snarky comments. It's strange. But anyways, is the babe
Why
that
did
I
you
asked
bring
the
up if
question
she's
back on
single
here?
or not? It's weird.
Is he back on here? I don't think you added him up. I don't know if he left.
Who's back?
Oh, what was his name?
I was about to say, yeah.
You a whole liar, lady.
Oh, okay. What did I lie about?
Like y'all
I
both was
asked
having
you
a
why
sassy
y'all
off.
don't never ask somebody to take a DNA test to prove they're African. If they say they're African, it's okay. But you want us to take a test to prove that we're Indian when we telling you that we got documentation and stuff that show that we are Indian.
And I said, I haven't. This is the first time I'm hearing about that. So when I'm asking you to expand on it and you're throwing out
What
insults,
do you
that makes me
mean?
feel like you're being disrespectful, and I'm not gonna. I don't tolerate
I
disrespect
don't
by
care
anyone.
what you tolerate,
Okay,
girl.
then you don't have to address me.
So
Thank
you a
you.
liar though, because I
Next.
did make a
Bye.
very valid point that
Bye-bye.
you cannot answer, and that's why you don't want to
Bye.
talk to me.
I actually
and
did
that's why
answer it.
you. That's why
But
you
you're too
result
quick
to
to
talking
speak and too slow to
because
listen.
you
move on, guys.
cannot handle the truth.
Let's
That's
just
your
move on.
problem.
Let's just
I
move
can't
on.
handle the truth. Okay. Anyway,
Go
Tyron,
ahead.
was it you that was speaking or somebody else that was speaking? Oh, I really wanted to
Don't
ask
run
Noah
this
about that question.
Keep trying to
Can
run
I
this
Wait,
man.
Tyron, was it you that was
can I answer the
talking
prompt real
about?
quick? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, New
Okay,
Era.
yeah, let's go
Yeah,
back to the prompt. I think he left
go ahead.
anyway. Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
All right, so
Your mom and everybody you came from.
Yeah, your
The
mama.
whole lineage, your whole bloodline.
all right, y'all gonna get this shit
Your
clipped.
mama.
Y'all gonna get this shit
If
clipped.
you have
Relax.
one.
Come on, y'all, relax. Yeah, both of you. Just drop. Yeah, go ahead, New Era. You can finish.
I'm just
Good
trying to
shit.
answer the prompt.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, we are not pretending because hold on, these be quiet for a second. No, we are not pretending because we are of this land and am I calling you? Hold
Oh man, what's your
Because if you Google pretending, we don't see no pictures of us. But if you Google American Indian, we see a whole bunch of pictures like us.
Come here and sit.
What's that, Tyron?
The Tyron talking to his damn dog or something. I don't know.
Oh, he's talking to someone.
Yeah, he's talking something. Keep
But no, the answer to your question is no. We are the only we are the only Indians on this land. True Indians.
Right, sure.
Because furthermore evidence, the word Negro, as somebody was saying earlier, means free Roman Indian, not on a reservation. So yeah. No, we are not pretending. But I do know a whole bunch of.
So
Speaking of that, David, did you see some Native Americans getting this on the road?
Yeah, I saw
And he
that
mad
shit. I
about
saw
it now?
some video. I saw some videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with that too. And I think specifically when people talk about who are the original like Indians and stuff, like I said earlier, they tend to try to only show one face of who's indigenous to the entire continent. And if you look at context of things that were discovered in Brazil and the Caribbean by explorers from Denmark, from explorers from Portuguese, they have specific paintings and people who they encountered as indigenous within the South Americas and Caribbeans. The person I have on my prompt, he is an indigenous person from the Brazilian islands. He is obviously very, he's a melanated person. He's quote unquote African presenting, if you say that. But there's countless documents that can be found in Denmark museums and Portuguese museums documenting the indigenous people that they found specifically in the Southern American continent. So.
For sure.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Somebody go ahead.
Say, yeah, I agree with him, man. Even, when Christopher Columbus, he had Moors on his ship. He had Moors. He had, I asked ChatGPT this question: was there black people in America, before slavery? And it said yes, it was. To the people that traveled over here, to the I forgot what the Moor that was on Christopher Columbus' ship. But yeah, it definitely said you guys can chat GPT this as well. It said, yeah, it was black people in this country before slavery. And some got mixed into slavery. And everybody that says they're Indian are not necessarily Indian. They have to do their lineage, they have to do the research, they have to look through all their documents to make sure, and trace their bloodlines and see, if they had a Indian grandmother or something like that, because it's Indian culture is matriarchal. So if you have an Indian grandmother in your culture, you are really considered an Indian person at that point, depending on what tribe she is from. So you got to do that research. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm Indian." You have to do that research. So yeah,
for sure. We got Nate Songs. We got Jarvis. We got.
What it do, Sakwase Napule?
Oh, now you know her, Tyron?
No.
All right.
I just looked at her profile. She looked interesting.
Oh.
I thought you knew her,
You're not
yo.
Haitian?
Nah, I ain't Haitian.
You tricked me. You said sacrifices so clearly. Good job.
Hey,
How you
Hi.
Hey,
doing?
everybody.
How you doing? What so brings you up? You got anything to add to the prompt?
Oh, I don't want to shake the room.
What you about to say?
How do you pronounce the P word? Pretendants?
Yeah, pretending.
They call them
Pretendian. Are Black Americans pretendians? I wouldn't say all of them because I lived in Louisiana for some years. I don't know if there's anybody from Louisiana here. And during Mardi Gras, they dress up like Indians. And they're Black people. Like New Orleans is primarily Black people, especially on the West Bank where I lived. And during the Mardi Gras celebrations, I don't know if you guys ever heard of like Mardi Gras before, where there's parades in the city all over the place. There's floats, there's people in the streets, they're catching beads, they're lifting up their shirts.
Man,
Yeah.
if I may interject, name y'all do that in Haiti. It's called Carnival.
Yes, Haitians have that as well.
So
We-
no,
But
they
they
don't
don't dress like
Indian man. Because they're practicing
Brazilian,
the same
Brazilians have it as well.
Yeah, they're practicing the same things that they do within the Americas, which is dressing their own indigenous regalia. It's their form of a powwow. These people are remnants of those indigenous groups.
Wait, so you guys think that you stem from like the current natives now? Because I
No,
heard
we
two
don't.
different
No, we
things. Yeah,
don't.
that's
No, we
okay.
don't.
Yeah, okay,
No.
that's okay. That's what I was gonna say because I've heard
Ice
two
Tea
different
Cat, can
people.
you
So
say that?
Tyron is saying yes, and you're saying
We
no.
don't come from them. We don't come from them. We don't come from like we ain't in the same tribes as those folks.
Yeah.
The most of those.
See, there's two different opinions on that. So Tyron, why do you think you do? And then Darvid, why do you think you don't?
I don't think I know. We know. For one, I've done both the DNA and I've done my genealogy. And what it leads me to is being indigenous American. The large percentage of African they toss at me is very unspecified because it's taking you all the way back to the antebellum and colonial period, which that's only one branch.
Can I ask you? Sorry to interrupt you.
Hold on.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what type of DNA
I know
test you
you're
did.
illiterate.
That's all.
Wait, and I don't think Nate.
God damn, one mic.
Wait, I don't think Nate got a chance to finish her point either. You can't
Yeah,
just
she.
control the
Yeah,
conversation.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, y'all. Yeah, she was speaking because I asked her a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, thank you guys for remembering that I didn't finish. I see you guys are very passionate. I don't want it to start a fight in here, but just my point when I mentioned the people that are from Louisiana that dress up as indigenous Indians, I feel as though that is part of their culture. But people down there in Louisiana, they're a blend of multiple cultures that create what that is today. So it's not just Indians, it's Frenchmen, it's Spaniards, all of that into one. Haitians too. There was a lot of Haitian migrants back in the 1950s or something that migrated there. They even call themselves Creole and mulattoes. That's similar to Haitian culture. So there's a lot of Cajun as well. Yes. There's a lot of blends down there, but those are Black people till today. They still dress up as Indians, where I find that interesting. I'm from Florida as well, where there's a lot of Black people here, but most of us are from different islands in the Caribbean, like Jamaicans, Haitians, people from the Bahamas, Virgin Islands, blah blah blah. But there's still Indian reservations here. There's still Cherokees. There's still Redskins. There's all of that there here in Florida. I don't know if that relates to us directly, but I know my roots. My roots come from Haiti, which came from Africa. So I never confused myself personally for Indian, but there were indigenous people in Haiti before, the whole slave trade happened. So you never know. It's all just a big mystery.
All right. So when we speak about our indigenous ties, we're mostly from the east of the Mississippi. Most folks don't even give a fuck about east of the Mississippi. If we ask some of these native, and answer the native question, right? They not from the same tribe. That's why I be making that. That's why I be saying the things I be fucking saying, right? These niggas be Apache, they be Navajo, they be Lakota. This shit ain't got nothing to do with what we was doing on the East Coast. Those are two different language families that we're talking about, different cultures in different lands. Right? I'm Algonquin. I'm mostly Algonquin, speaking person. I'm still on my ancestral lands. Right? I'm still on my ancestral land. I got family that ain't never lost land in Maryland and Virginia. We've been here for a long ass time. Forever, basically. Now, with that being said, you got folks mustering up, calling us pretendians, this, that. They don't even know. You got folks calling us pretend. They don't even know when the fuck Africans got to Virginia. They don't even know when the fuck Africans got to Virginia. 1619. I'm from the first two colonies. I've seen the records.
Okay, but let me say this.
I'm not. Oh, no. I'm not done talking. No. No, I'm not done talking.
Okay.
I lose my train of thought when people cut me off.
Let him cook.
I'm addressing I'm not black and white, motherfucker. None of my parents are mixed. Like, what are we talking about? Now, with that being said, where was I even going with that? But yeah, it's folks that, yeah, like I said, I've seen records of Africans. I've been to archives. I've seen these records for myself. I've seen these records. The people that can't name their second, third great grandparents can't tell me shit about a family tree. Maybe you need to go inward and find out who your family is before you try to tell people who they are. I'll land there.
And mind you, this is the descendant of Cahokia, and if y'all don't know who Cahokia is, that's the daughter of Pocahontas. So,
yeah, why would you?
I love Pocahontas.
Was a real person.
Yeah, she was actually. I love me some Pocahontas.
This is the shit I be talking about. Why? And then Tyra, why the hell would you say that, yo? Yes, Pocahontas was a real person. Like, that's one of my ancestors. I descend from her and her sister and her daughter. So thanks, Tyron, for saying that shit.
Yeah, just
you guys famous.
coming up
You
with
guys
stuff
famous,
on the
for real.
fly.
We don't what? We just coming up with what?
No,
Y'all
you
just
guys are
coming up with
famous.
stuff.
We coming up with stuff on what? What are you talking about?
Nay said y'all just coming up with stuff on the fly. So both of y'all are from
Like dude, you said we like who are you talking to? Who you talking about real life? About real life?
Darvin and Tyron are from different tribes, right?
Like yo, who yo?
Oh, I get
Did
her
you- did
point.
I just-
Okay, I get her point though. I get
We
her
just
point.
making shit up on the fly.
No,
Like what are you
because-
talking about?
Wait.
No, like ain't no explain. What are you talking about? Huh?
No, because you guys are from different tribes, right?
Like no, this not like that don't fucking matter. That don't fucking matter, right? Pocahontas was a real person.
Of course, yeah, I know that.
Like take that like I was literally in her fucking land just now, a few months ago. Who do y'all think y'all are?
No, I know
That's a real-
Pocahontas was real.
No, like I'm not talking to you. I don't need no motherfucking ad-libs. Y'all claim to be related to Cleopatra as well. When like nigga, shut the fuck up. Get this, mute this dude. Like Pocahontas is a real. You only think she's a fucking movie. That's how ignorant y'all are. That's how ignorant y'all are. She has a whole town named after her in Virginia, with statues of her father, and her family. I was literally in the place that she ran around in a few months ago. Her bones are still in fucking London. And they ain't give that shit back. The fuck is wrong with y'all?
Okay, I have a question though, because this is what I'm trying to figure out. I know Pocahontas is real, right? But if Tyron and you are from different tribes, how can you both descend from Pocahontas? That's what I want to
descend from Pocahontas.
Okay.
He never said that. I did.
I know
he
you
said,
said that.
He said I did. Her daughter was literally fucking enslaved.
Okay.
And her sister was enslaved.
It was disgusting what happened to them.
Yeah, it was disgusting that happened to their whole families.
Yeah, it was disgusting. I
Her
know that's
daughter and her sister were both enslaved.
It was disgusting for sure. But yeah, I think that's the confusion that I had, is because you guys both said you were descendants of Pocahontas.
I never said
They both can be
You
though.
did say that.
I never
Your
said I'm a
confusion was
descendant.
caused from prejudice, like honey. That's
What I said was he is a descendant of Kahokee.
Oh,
Don't twist up my damn words.
No, I didn't
People,
understand that
hold on,
part
man.
then.
My people are the Yamasi. We are
Okay,
low
yeah.
country people. We're Gullah Geechee. Stop playing with me.
Those are
You don't know
African.
nothing about. You don't know
Those
nothing
are
about.
African.
That's
They're
not no African tribe
Those are
either.
It's not an African. It's
No,
a
they're
mixed
not.
Can you
tribe.
give me the phone? Give me the
That
screen.
body,
Put me on the
stop.
big screen. Put me on a big screen.
Stop.
Gullah
You're
is a
not.
mixture of
Put
I
me
don't
on the
care.
big
You put
screen,
up a
baby.
screen from the Gullah Geechee corridor.
Hey,
I got
Put me
her on
the
phone.
big screen.
Hold on,
Let's
body
do
of
some
manifest.
education
I'm
today.
talking right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dicey
Mr.
can't put my shit on the spot, so I have to address this goofy.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the Gullah Geechee are not Africans. They're
Okay.
Americans.
Uh-huh.
And Queen Quet, will you stop ad-libbing, please? Queen Quet
Right
herself.
here.
Hold
Stop
on.
forgetting how
Yo,
you're not
wait,
African.
I don't care
All
about
right,
your
bro.
Google
God,
Media
all right,
scholarship.
this the fuck we gonna do. I don't know what the fuck y'all think y'all are. Like who y'all think y'all disrespecting folks' ancestors? Like who the y'all think y'all are, bro? That shit crazy. Rude and disrespectful, like, yeah, shit should be diabolical. Like, folks don't even know Pocahontas. That's not even her fucking name. I don't even know. I don't even like that Tyrone even said that she had like brought her daughter. I don't even like that shit either. Like, don't tell these folks. Like, who the hell are these folks? They don't need to know. They don't even need to know she had a daughter. They don't. If they ask if she real, not even her name. I ain't gonna tell her. I ain't even gonna tell her where the name. I ain't even gonna tell you where the name came from. Yeah, we ain't tell bro. I mean, I tell folks that's worthy of having that fucking knowledge. Like, stop giving these people sauce. Stop giving these people sauce for free, though. Like, nah. We give these people too much information. They fucking outsiders. They're fucking outsiders. That's a private. Like, they fucking outsiders, dude. Like, stop giving these outsiders our shit.
Yeah, I agree. That's why whenever I show my tree, I make sure not to show any Indians that are known. I make sure to show unknown people only that you can't search up on Google.
I find it pretty funny that they laughed at you for not.
Yeah, I
knowing
didn't mean to put your
Pocahontas
stuff
is
out there,
real.
but yeah.
Like Disney movies,
Well,
like somebody made a Disney movie and that really had y'all thinking it was fake because you didn't do no research.
Yeah, that's where they get their knowledge from. It's just movies. And what I was saying is the Gullah Geechee are not Africans at all. I don't know what the hell this woman got up here and did a Googlepedia search when Queen Quet herself said that she's Supalo Indian and Yamasi.
Cartoon of George Washington, the white tea man somewhere. Is he not real too? He may not be, to be honest with
Like, hell, like, bro, like, you can tell folks ain't never been to Virginia.
South Carolina. Or
Yeah, like all that shit that's named after Pocahontas in Virginia, yo.
Hey, look, we talking about the river. We talking about, you know what I'm saying?
the black
All
community
kinds-
there. I just
Hey,
been from there.
But see,
Like,
if
a
we
couple months
get
ago.
real, if we get real, right? If we get real, you know what I'm saying? I was in the chat just dealing with, Queen Anne. You feel me? And how Blackbeard named his ship and said Queen Anne needed revenge. Man, hey, look. I just want y'all to ponder on there for a second. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shut the fuck up with that. You feel me? That just made me think though.
But we were originally responding to Nay because she was in disbelief about our indigeneity.
Well, see, here's the thing with the Gullah shit, right, man? And then with other folks that saying that they come from that small branch of African communities and shit. Like, let them people be there, man. That's one thing I feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't force. If they want to be African, they gonna be African. Let them be African.
Right, Wayne? They're not.
Know what I'm saying? If they want to be, let it. You know what I'm saying? But also at the same time, y'all right by not letting these motherfuckers tell you.
Let certain people do what they want to do. They create new tribes, get federally recognized, and then X you out.
Mm-hmm.
Hey man, look, that's why I say y'all right by not letting motherfuckers tell y'all who y'all are. You understand?
My thing is, I don't know why people believe out of Africa theory when it was all over the world. Like, that shit don't make sense. If it was all over the world, how do everybody come from Africa?
Well, look, this the shit.
Like, we was playing it on the world all over the shit.
Right. So
Not just Africa, though.
the only reason I still subscribe to the out of Africa theory is because it's the only one that I know of that makes sense genetically. Now that doesn't then take away from people indigeneity at certain places. When we're talking about a pinpoint of the modern day Homo sapien and then sapien, you can pinpoint it to Africa so far.
Why can't the people on this side of the
Can I ask you a
continent be the
question real
same
quick?
black people that started?
Sure.
You like history and stuff?
I'm sorry?
Native Black?
Yeah.
I say you like to read books about history and all that good stuff, right? All right,
Yep.
cool. You should, I don't know if it's on Amazon, but it's a book called From the Americas to Africa. I think you should read it. You'll find it mighty interesting. And there's also another book called To Elder Indian and Save the Man. That's put the K in front of L.
Okay, yeah.
And that's there's two books
I'm
that
always
will
open to
direct,
more.
you know.
I'm always open to
tell
more
you-
information. So yeah.
Hey, Native Black, how many voyagers do you know that came to America besides Christopher Columbus?
Right. So but I want to be clear. I'm not making the argument that that we aren't indigenous to America. I'm specifically talking about the Homo sapien species and their population of the entire world. That's the argument I'm making. I'm not talking about what. Yeah.
Modern research, right? Modern research found out that the Homo sapien actually mixed up with an older subhuman species, right? And created today's people. So
Yeah.
with that said, right, where did that older species come from? If
Yeah.
the mixing happened in Africa.
Right. So in 2013, I think there was a gentleman from Alabama or somewhere in the South, somewhere in South America, or
Yep.
Yeah,
We
somewhere
on
in
the same page.
yeah. So they found his admixture to have even more archaic genealogy than what was previously thought. So they do say that it predates Homo sapien.
So where did that come from?
Yes, I know that. So they're ongoing testing.
Yeah, you gotta.
I'm not opposed to it. I'm just saying that's just what I've known so far. I'm not opposed to any more information. So
understood, but you gotta pop questions like that, bro.
Hey, can I ask Native a question real quick? Have you heard of the out of Asia theory?
No, I have not.
I think you should look up on that because that was before the out of Africa theory.
Okay, I will.
And you see how this keep on making up theories. Like that's why we don't put. How can we theory after theory after theory? Like, yeah, nah, we don't do theories over here.
Here's the shit I kind of would talk. Just dealing with certain customs. You know what I'm saying? Like when Shada was saying how down in Louisiana specifically, you see folks, doing the Mardi Gras and the celebrations in that way, right? I don't think it's talked about enough how much that happened throughout the Southeast entirely. You know what I'm saying? I just want to highlight that as well. You feel me? And you see that happening also in Toronto. You know what I'm saying? With that Mardi Gras festival or that parade or what y'all would call carnival. You know what I'm saying?
Really, that's why I don't disagree when people say when people who look like have the phenotype of black, if they tell me that they're Indian, I believe them. I just believe them. I'm not gonna argue with you and say, no, you're black, you were enslaved. No, I'm not one of those. I have an open mind because I've been exposed to actual Indians still to this day, black Indians living in Louisiana. They just look black, but they're Indian. And they celebrate their culture still in 2025, in 2026, in 2030. It's still very prevalent. So when people tell me they come from tribes and their family come from this tribe, that tribe, I just believe it. I just didn't know Pocahontas was a real person. But I believe you guys if y'all say y'all Indian. I don't call y'all Pretendians.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
But you said we was making this.
Go ahead, though.
What? But you said we was making it up.
No, I
But you
must
still
have
can't-
misheard you. I must have misheard you guys. So I do apologize about that. I must have misheard that.
Ironic that shit is.
I want to ask a question after y'all ask a question.
All right, go ahead. Just go ahead.
No, I just want to know why do you laugh after you say you didn't know that Pocahontas was a real person that laughed? What was funny about that?
It was funny because everyone got upset about it.
What?
Are you still getting upset about it?
Ain't nobody like what?
I see how that's
It's funny, like people getting upset at like these are real people. You want me? If I did disrespected one of your dead ancestors, would you find that funny?
And how ironic it would be to talk about.
Hold on, Rice. I want her to answer. I want her to answer David's question. Hold on, I need her to answer David's question. Can you answer the host question, please? Nay?
I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. I'm thinking like, how would I feel if maybe one of the like revolutionaries of Haiti, you know, one of the main leaders of Haiti that freed the slaves? If
No,
you guys
that's not. Hold on, Nate. Hold on, Nate. Hold on, Nate. That's not what he asked you. Nate, that's not.
I think
Nate,
he
that's
asked
not what he asked you. He said.
have empathy for a situation, which I do have.
Hey,
empathy.
no, I don't believe it.
You didn't understand the question. He said if one of your dead ancestors, he didn't say nothing about no famous people in Haiti. He said if he disrespected one of your dead ancestors, not nobody famous that not in your family.
I didn't say
if
famous,
he disrespected
I said
your
one of-
dead ancestors.
She's dead ass my ancestor. Dead ass. My family.
But somebody disrespected your dad family, Nate.
I never disrespected anyone.
Yes, you said y'all making that up.
Yes,
like, what?
you did by laughing.
That's not disrespecting your family.
Yes, it. Like how we made up a story about our family. That's disrespectful. I don't even know why we gotta even explain that shit. It's disrespectful.
All right, I'm
Now,
not
if you-
getting
if
it
you-
out.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
uncomfortable here. Bye bye.
Yeah, man, you feel uncomfortable because you disrespectful as fuck. The fuck? You disrespect us, now you feel uncomfortable. Man, fuck out of here. Get that. That's some weak ass fake victim shit. The fuck is wrong with you? How you gonna disrespect some folks and then play victim? Like, get the fuck on.
Y'all all ganging up on me, so I'm gonna just head out. Goodbye.
You're all, yeah, you because you dead ass wrong. Fuck your dead ass.
Wait.
Yeah, fuck it.
Me ask you a question.
Hey, but look though, how ironic it is to talk about pretend Indians and then say she would be made up. That's ironic as fuck. I mean, excuse my language. It's free.
What's her ancestry? What's her ancestry?
She said she Haitian.
Well, you need to find out why your people sold you for bottles of alcohol. You need to get reparations from Congo.
She said she was from she said she was a Haitian with African roots. How about that?
It's for Congo. Don't worry about our ancestry. You should be in them streets. Our Africans getting deported. You should be marching in the streets for your people, and you should be getting reparations from Congo. That's what you should be doing.
She said Haitian's an Arawak. I mean, so apparently she don't. Apparently she ain't wanting to make. Apparently, she ain't one of them Arawak Haitians. So, are you?
Dominican is demanding reparations from Haiti right now.
They're trying to get reparations from France, but you talking about you African descendants. You should be asking reparations from the people that sold you to the Europeans. That's what you should be asking.
To the character y'all married. What you say? Y'all married weird? Are you guys paying attention to the character y'all married? Man, shut your weak ass up. They ain't nobody with a good character gonna laugh at someone talking about their ancestors. Man, fuck you.
And then laugh during the apology.
And laugh during the apology there. Fuck all them musty ass Africans in her bloodline. Then fuck them.
Tell her to come back up here. I want to know why she hasn't asked.
She said she left.
Why she ain't asked Africans for reparations, and why she's claiming of people that sold her. Clearly, they don't want your ass there. Otherwise, they would have sold you. Like what?
Oh, and also Haiti got rejected by the African Union, and if I'm not
respect women, man, we don't respect disrespectful ass women. How about that? I
she started off disrespectful because when she came up, she said, "Oh, she said I'm Haitian of African descent. I know who I am." So she started off kind of.
Hey, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if someone's calm. She was calm. That don't mean they not disrespectful, you dumbass.
Hey, dog. Go ahead, Venus. I want to ask a question when y'all done.
I was gonna say African descent isn't a tribe or a language or country or culture. So clearly, she don't know who she is.
Hey, look. So with that said, right? When it come down to folks being able to connect to people, and then some folks turn around and say, "Oh no, they made up." I believe that might be the issue at hand. You know what I'm saying? That those folks that say that they are who they are can't really connect to the people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Native Black. So I see you got that photo up. So what I was trying to say is that in order for a lot of people to get to America at some point, there had to be a lot of voyagers to come to the shores beside Christopher Columbus. I can name a good 20 people who have books that they've written, like Charlevoix, La Perouse, Louis Corse, and many others that you probably never heard of, but yet they never describe the people that look like that on your screen. But yet that's what you want to show a picture of, like propaganda right now.
So wait, we're on two different pages. So let me clarify myself. What I'm showing on my background, I believe because all right, what I'm showing on my background are native Siberians. And the point I'm trying to drive home is that the people who we believe are native to America, North America, are actually people who migrated from Siberia. So they, in fact, themselves aren't indigenous.
Correct, because otherwise they wouldn't have an embassy in America. Why would they even have an embassy if they were from here?
Right. And then so I have done my research. We're on the same page because I also have documents and pictures of people that were first contacted as indigenous. There are specific people or the specific voyages that were taken from Denmark, from Spain. And my background right now is a picture in the Denmark Museum of the indigenous individual that they met in South America. So we're not opposite. We're on the same page. I just wanted that to be clear.
That they have an embassy though. They have a whole embassy. You